Talk shoes.
Recorded live.
Hello, yeah, I was supposed to start the show on the talk at 8 o'clock, but I had to run an errand, so I ran a little late. Having problems.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Yeah, I'm a little late 'cause I already said it before, but I'm a little late 'cause I had to go do something and the traffic on the way back caused me to be late. I don't know. I guess I'm talking to myself. I'm not really sure where to start 'cause this is not really formalized, formatted type of talk. I guess I'll start off with like reality as I perceive it, and I guess I'll start off with mythology. From what I found in my research, after years of looking at things, and I'm still learning, is that the people or in this group of people in this system, they basically manipulate reality and alter reality and use it for their own benefit, and they lay out a lot of traps and red herrings and all that type of stuff. And one of the things they do is they put a lot more of reality inside mythology and put lies inside what people call facts, published books and stuff like that. So that's what I was actually doing. I was at the bookstore, and I just bought a book by Arthur C. Clarke called 2010, and the first one, or the first movie, was a really revealing movie. If you understand symbolism there. Like he put like basically like two allegories in there. There's more allegories, but two main ones he put in there were the Odyssey, Homer's Odyssey, and Nietzsche's Superman. In there, from the music to the spaceships to what people say to the names, all encoded. Um, Little messages they put out. But that's all linked to the I guess they call it, some people call it revelation of the message. the revealing or rebelling. So,
Hello.
hello.
I decided to call in,
Mm-hmm.
so that, you wouldn't necessarily be waiting to start the show.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could be a silent audience member, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you don't want to talk to me. I mean, I understand that. It wouldn't be the first time that has happened.
What you want to add? What you want to talk about?
Well, I don't know about adding anything. I haven't really heard anything to add on to yet, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I read your comment you left. You said like I was scared of you or something. I abruptly left when you came on.
oh, that's what you mean by add on.
Nah, I'm just finding something to talk about because I just realized who you were and I just saw your comment today.
Yeah, I was somewhat disenchanted by the abruptness of the phone call. I think the conversation was getting somewhat interesting, a lot of input, but I think maybe you could have just left, got a bite to eat and come back and maybe ended the call.
Well, I'm here now, man. So I'm not. I'm not running away. I'm not scared of anything, and I don't think I come around with my ego, because that's what you said. I was anal, or not me, or just I guess you were putting me in a category as the rest of the talk show people as being anal, retentive, or you like to I guess play devil's advocate or whatever with people.
Well, that was my first impression.
Mhm. So, what's your impression now?
Well, we just started the conversation. I guess I would have to make a conclusion of that after further discussion. But I'm quite sure you had some type of subject that you want to talk about today. So.
I talk about all types of things because really it's not really one subject like that, like we're taught in school.
So you didn't have an agenda or
an agenda?
Topics to talk about, or just kind of freelance? Is that?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, yeah, with I'm not I guess most talks they kind of formalize things. They have a format, but what I find, like, learning reality, it's not it's everything's actually connected with each other. So school, they train you to really look at things as this is math, this is science, and everything's separate. And really, it's all everything's linked together, and it only makes sense when you link it all together.
Yeah.
Who?
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Is that Zori?
Yeah, sales. Yeah, coming to join the conversation. First time, so.
Mhm.
This is the first time I've been on, so.
Mhm. What's going on? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Australia.
Australia.
From Queensland, Australia.
What's going on out there?
Oh, nothing much. Just basically decided to just come and have a check yours all out and get in and have a bit of a listen and connect up whatever's going on.
You've got a bad connection. It's got an echo somewhat. Do you have the sound on your computer on, or?
Do you have? Are you using a speaker type of thing, or a microphone, or are you on a phone, or?
I'm talking from a camera phone.
Yeah, that's why. I think you got to turn on your volume down.
Volume down.
Or the speaker volume down, or something. Or?
Yeah.
You don't have a headset or something, or?
Yeah, I'm trying to work out how to do it. I've never been on here before. First time, so just trying to work out how to do everything here. This is my first time, so I have no idea what I'm doing, so.
Oh, yeah. So what attracted you to this show, to this channel?
Mysteries about truth. You know, talking about truth and whatever, so I thought, be interested to see what you're going to talk about and or whatever, so I'm right into anything about truth or whatever, and I didn't know how far you're going to go with it, so I'm always interested in how far you're going to talk about it.
What's your idea of what truth is?
My truth, I mean, I'm right into all types of things with truth. I mean, I'm looking like about Metonic gold, and I mean, I'm into all types of things, just looking into the secret orders of things and all that, just trying to find out what is the truth, you know. So all the secret things that we never get to hear about.
Yeah, it's interesting you say the secret orders of things. What I found in like my research is that humanity is older than what like people publicly are being told, and our history is at least prehistory is not told to us like in schools or whatever, but that information is held though, and I believe it's held in secret societies, and it's only released in a coded format.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up? What's going on?
Not much.
But yeah, it's only released in like a coded format, from what I find, and it's really a premise to understand all of that stuff. To understand, like, because when you look at like allegorical writings and Bibles and all that stuff, it sounds so obscure, the way they write things, but you become familiar with it when you look at, from looking at Masonic encyclopedias, living just experiencing life and stuff, and yeah, and it's a picture that you have to, it's a story that you have to grasp, basically, and I find that you'll find pieces to the story from analyzing words, and symbols, stuff like that.
Something I found out was really helpful, man, which I posted this, is, okay, you write 9 columns across, 3 rows down, and you write the alphabet, and the last space is a blank space, which is the S that ties it back around, you know, because you get on the last vertical column, you get IR, and if the blank spot's an S, so it's IRS. Mm-hmm. But if you number, you can number the letters going forward or backwards. Starting at A is 1, or you can start at Z as 1 and go backwards. And if you start at Z as 1 and 2, you get a lot of interesting stuff. It'll start to tell you a lot of shit about things.
Mm-hmm. What did you find out? Like what type of things you know?
Me and Phoenix were not Phoenix. Me and Governor were talking about it. And I mean, like what I thought was interesting was the S. By the time you get to S is like, you know, like I think like 8, 9, and yeah, and 9 is the mirror, right? Well, if you mirrored S on a self, you get an 8, and 8 is infinity.
Yeah, 8 is infinity. 8 is male. Yeah, the whole numerology, the whole.
Well, if you draw like a clock diagram, like you draw a circle, right? You put 8 at 12 o'clock, and you put like 4 at 6 o'clock, and you number it around. It'll go all the way back around to 8. And when it goes to 8, when it goes to 9, the 9 is like a spiral down, you know. So it goes back around again. It's like a DNA column. It's like the helix, like the double helix, and whatnot. You know, and if you look at that from the top, you'll see a Q, or from the bottom you see a Q.
Yeah, I never looked at it from that angle before, but sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot of stuff too from the Illuminati Observer. They talk a lot about this code stuff and like different ways. It's like Kabbalism type stuff, and
yeah, but that's Kabbalah. They have a way of coding words, but that's just the way when I look at the coding, I look at it from that angle too, and I try to look at it from all those angles. But Kabbalah, they use that one thing that they always do is like the way they pair up letters and twos, like that word standard, how it's first, second, third.
Yeah.
And they do that a lot. And reading in Sonic Encyclopedia, I've seen like they had like different ciphers they used to use, like the tic-tac-toe board is actually like a type of cipher they used to use. They say they don't use it anymore.
Yeah, and that, because I'm way past that now, but I remember when I first seen that standard first, second, third, that just kind of blew me away because it was so simple and it was right in front of my face the whole time, and I never noticed it. Yeah. you know. I mean, I know it's now. I mean, I've done it for a while now, but up to that point.
Yeah, I keep hearing echoing, man. It's killing me.
Yeah, where's the echo coming from? Yeah. Damn, I don't know where my damn pad was. Let me just. There.
Excuse me, Zeori? How you pronounce that?
Zeor.
Zeori?
Zeor.
Zeor. What does that mean?
Zeor. Zeor.
Zeo. What does it mean?
Oh, it's just a name I made up.
Kind of sounds like Zol. You know, I heard that from the Ghostbusters movie. There was some demon called Zol or some shit like that.
Nah, it's just a name I made up spiritual.
So Zeo, over there, have you ever spoke to like do you live around like those Aboriginal people I hear about?
Aboriginal people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got friends that are Aboriginals, and I get on with quite some of Aboriginal people too. I got friends that I do that are Aboriginal, so. But I know they try, like to say, try to find out about your stuff. You know, as basically you'd have to talk to the elders like anything to find out about anything. So, but you'll find in most cultures they all believe in. I think even if you look in the cave paintings, you'll find that there's stuff about UFOs, and even in cave paintings, I think you'll find any like to say, you find places about UFOs, and you'll find in a lot of old cultures there's stuff about UFOs and everything too. So I think UFOs have always been around. So.
Yeah. An interesting observation I've noticed from Acme's post. He posted a link to, he had like 3 or 4 links on there, like to different parts of the world, and one of them was Swaziland. Well, people of Swaziland are called Swazi. Well, if you think about that name, Swazi, you know, as SW is Nazi, you know, Swazi Nazi, it's almost spelled the same. And Swazi is swastika Nazi, so you can kind of see it like within the people of Swaziland, which is somewhere, I think it's somewhere in Africa.
Well, all those words like Tain, Nazi, what's it called? Stain, Tin. It's all linked to that Nazi, because that's the whole philosophy of all religion of the people that run the system. It's it's this it's linked to. That's why they have countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan,
Turkmenistan.
All those stands it means Nazi.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this whole system is the Nazis, though, ain't it? I mean, really, if you think about it, in any country, any culture, really.
Yeah, I guess you can say.
I mean, in a way,
I mean, that's the core belief when you look at like people like the Jewish people and then the Nazis. When you look at their core beliefs, it goes to Kabbalah and stuff like that. It's the same thing.
Well, yeah, because you got the word Nazi and Ashkenazi.
And then you have people like Nietzsche who publicly say, "Oh, he had nothing to do with Hitler," but when you look at the core roots of what he was talking about, this Overman, Superman, and even look at his name, Niet. It's the same thing.
But see, the Nazis were around before Hitler, before it's been termed Nazi Germany.
And that name Nazi is it goes back. It wasn't called swastika back then. It was called Filfot, and the Filfot is a phonetic word, or phonetically backwards. It's tough life, and that's what they do. They're the people who have control over giving you a tough life.
Yeah.
And it's different forms. Like they oppress people like differently. They can. That's why they have the fan. It could be energy coming from blowing or sucking.
Now, how come we got some swastikas that go clockwise, some go counterclockwise? What's that symbolizing?
Yeah, it's just different forms. It's like the whole thing with how like you have people like the people like in government who seem to oppress from the top, and then you have Native Americans who squeeze you in from the bottom, coming from another direction.
Yeah.
It's like good and evil. Like they one team is the good team, the other team's evil, but they both work for the same system, and they're all coming at it from different angles.
Yeah, I can see that.
There's
an echo.
Yeah, I believe that too. What you've got to do is start waking up to higher consciousness, and then you will start seeing things in other realities. Because what you've got to do is you've got to get out of the matrix. We're so far in the matrix, we don't see the other realities that are going on. And the only way you're really going to start finding out things is wake up out of the matrix. And we are in the matrix.
Yeah, the matrix is just, the core. It's just the reality. From what I've learned, is the ultimate reality. It's inside every individual. It's inside the spine, and the system. They just have so many ways of getting you not looking at yourself and thinking it's somewhere out there, but it's an internal thing.
Yeah, it's an internal thing, and I kind of see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I can't just sit here and, I see where you're coming from, but I can't, put all this together just by sitting here reflecting about it. I kind of have to have, at the very least, some sort of circumstantial information to go off of, you know what I'm saying?
Well, the information is inside you. It's just you have to unlock it, and then you look at things outside, and you see things differently.
Yeah.
And you break things, you come, because you have that intuition, and the intuition is just that archived knowledge inside your spine, and now you have like a knowledge base to work with.
I totally really do believe in all that genetic memory, because I can't explain it, but sometimes
believing it, it's a reality, man. You see it,
Yeah.
You see it all the time. You see it in animals, this memory they're born, just knowing what to do.
Well, see, I can tell you something. It was a weird story for a long time that would eluded me, and I stopped and I thought about it, and I had a revelation almost on it when I stopped and thought about it. when I was about 22, I was at a friend's house, and I've told this story before. I was at a friend's house, and you know, I had gotten really tired, and all the energy just kind of leaked out. I'm like I was just I had no energy. It was almost like I had a near-death experience. You know, dark and cloudy. I fell off, and there was a lady looking up above me, and like a funeral gown, like a long lace, like flowing, like black, like looking brow-like gown thing with a veil over her face. And for a long time, I never knew what that meant. But then I stopped and I thought about it when I started getting, you know, I started remembering. I thought really hard about genetic memory and who I was in the past life. And I was thinking that, you know, well, my past life, you know, I was somebody had some level of power and authority, I guess. And I used to drink to get away from my problems back then. And I'd take it out on my wife or my widow, as she would end up being. But she stood with me to the very end, though. And I ended up going out of a heart attack in that life. And I stopped and I thought about it, and I'm like, wait a minute, that explains it. That's who that was. That's who that lady was. Or I'm thinking that's who it was. You know, when I seen that lady standing above me, that's who it was. That was my widow, yeah.
I don't know, because that's something with you. I can't. To me, that doesn't. To me, you gotta understand.
Yeah.
Like when you're saying that to me, I never experienced that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what you're talking about, really? Like it's not.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
I really with genetic memory or like just memories, old memories, stuff like that. I don't. I mean, I've had my own experiences, but
Hey, I'll be right. Somebody beeping me. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right.
But what's this monantic gold? What is that?
It's
It's what?
It's actually called monatomic gold.
Hey, yeah, I'm going to have to call back in a little bit. Yeah, I got somebody on the other line from this.
All right.
I was supposed to put right monatomic gold. That's what it's supposed to be. It's called monatomic gold. I was supposed to write monatomic. Or another name for it is ormus, mana, shimana.
Mana?
There's different names for it.
What is it, like the metal? Or
no, it's a powder, or it can be taken as a liquid. And like to say, you can take it in like Dead Sea ormus, or you can take it in liquid form, where you can actually make it. I've actually learned how to make it. It's was once part of the ancient orders, or secret orders, and once you learn how to do it, it wakens you up, opens up your crown, your third eye, and all those other things. I started taking it many years ago, and I noticed a big difference. Started opening up the third eye and my crown chakra and things like that. Noticed a lot of weird things started happening to me, so, and I noticed my energies really started going out, becoming very aware of things that most people weren't aware of. So that's why, yeah.
I don't know. Me personally, I don't take anything like a drug or anything to.
Not a drug.
Yeah, or any herb or whatever. I don't take anything like that, like to have because I know when people take things, like if people take a drug, it's usually stuff that's getting conjured up from like your unconscious mind, and when you're taking things from your unconscious mind, like it's all types of information, you know, you can never really.
Yeah, what it actually does, it fires up your light body.
And what?
Fires the light body up.
The light
body. It feeds the light body. Everyone thinks they need to eat to feed the body, but what it does, it feeds the spiritual light body, and that's what we've got to learn to do, because it was used back in ancient times, and that's what we've got to learn to do again, feed the light body, because we all think we need to feed the physical body, but it's the light body you need to feed. It's not the
what's the light body?
Light body is our spiritual body.
What's spiritual? What is that?
Our light body. We are pure light body. And if we're pure light body, then that's what we need to feed. It's not the physical body. So we need to think we need to feed the physical body what we've got right now. It's the light body that needs to be fed.
Okay, those terms that you're using, like light body and stuff like that, you gotta be careful because you'll hear that too, like in masonry, they're all searching after the light. It basically all comes down to the dark versus the light, and the dark is matter, physical world, and light is the spirit world. But it's a trick. It's because the whole thing with spirituality, it's a world that was made up to create.
All part of the matrix.
Yeah, it was world to create. It's just like that's why in Zoroastrianism they talk about 7 worlds, and it's just different realities that they made up. And
there is a lot of realities.
Huh?
There are a lot of realities you don't see, and it's because you're in the matrix, mate. And as you wake up out of the matrix, you will see there's a lot of things that you do not see. There are things that are right.
Yeah, because you're blind. Because you're blinded from like indoctrination in schools, and just how you're taught to look at things as you're growing up. But I'm just saying, like the whole thing with light, of going to the light, is a big mistake, because the light, what they mean by the light is hello.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, it's only because you've got your vowels on there. That's why we can't actually see a lot of things, because we've got vowels on, and as you take the vowels off, that's when you start things that you will never see. That's what we've got to do. Take our vowels off to those other multi-dimensional realities. That's why most of us cannot see these other multi-dimensional realities.
Well, people can't. I don't think the human mind can handle anything past like 3 dimensions, or maybe a little bit 4th dimension, because our minds aren't designed to see things. We're not. It's not that advanced, the human mind. We can see things to 3 dimensions, and some things 4 dimensions, but that's why they use symbols, because the mind, to grasp those things, we use simple analogies to grasp things that are vast, because we can't grasp those things directly with our minds. And there was another mind that could grasp those things in the past, and that was Neanderthal. That was the genetic engineer.
You know why you actually can't see that, have that understanding? Because you don't fire up your super light body. Because what it does, like if I take monatomic gold, it activates, you become a superconductor for energy. And as you can add their energy, you got all this energy of the universal consciousness, and what it does, it brings that into your body, and you have that greater super of a deeper understanding, and that's what it does.
Well, I don't need to take anything. Personally, I don't need to take anything to have another. It's not about like taking. That's that instant gratification. Just take this and you have it. That's Western thinking. Me, it's not. It's things you have to go through and shed really from your own life, perceptions and stuff like that. Experiences which make you see things.
Got somebody else beeping me. I'll be
me personally, I disagree.
Sometimes you got to have your own experiences and wake up from your own matrix, because you're probably in the matrix as much as everyone else in this room. We're all in the matrix some way, shape or form. And have you ever had something you've never been able to explain, or see things slow down, or things that you've never been able to explain in other realities? That's because you're waking up out of the matrix. And when you come in and out of the matrix and you have those different realities, you will have those different experiences. Never close your mind, mate, and be open to a whole different reality. I'm one person that's open to many realities. Never close your mind to other realities. In the end, there's only one reality.
Yeah, exactly.
We are super conscious beings. We are multi-universal conscious beings. what we've got to do. Be open to it. Don't close our mind up and just saying this is the only reality there is and nothing outside this reality. Because that means we're very closed.
When I say reality, like I understand it's an artificial controlled environment. The environment is totally made up and artificial, and so that's our reality for us. It's a world.
All part of the matrix.
That's why they allegorize it like in Star Trek or something like that. They come to these different planets, and they're just saying it's different like realities, different worlds.
How do you know you're not a star child? I'm going to ask you a question. How do you know you're not a star child that hasn't reawakened to what you is? How do you know you haven't come from another planet and you're in a deep sleep of consciousness? Because everyone here is basically has been a star child one way, shape or form. Because how do you know you haven't had other life on other planets? And you'll just...
Well, the whole idea of aliens coming or life on other planets, and I don't doubt that there's life on other planets. I mean...
I already know I've had life on other planets.
I don't doubt that at all.
I'm a star child.
The whole thing with us coming from outer space, that idea comes from when the Earth was formed. The first light, where life comes from is water, and when the Earth was forming, it was basically like getting hit with different rocks and forming, and one of the things that hit the planet was came from the Oort cloud. Everything comes Oort is basically root backwards. Everything comes from the Oort cloud, and there's like shards of ice came from there. And from those shards of ice, it had bacteria that survived, that lived in that, and that's how it started off in the evolution of things on this planet. And that's where they get the idea of aliens coming from us. But it's just ultimately...
Yeah, there's Pleiades, there's Sirian, there's Andromedas, the Curinians, there's many other beings. I know many aliens, and I've seen UFOs, and you can't tell me
but UFOs don't mean they came from
physical eyes, mate.
UFOs don't mean they came from out there. That's what they as above, so below. They tell you it's out there, but it's in here. They're not extraterrestrials.
Have you ever heard of the Pleiadians? Have you heard of the Pleiadians? Have you heard of the Syrians?
Syrians in Africa. Well, and what's it called? And they're not extraterrestrial. They're intraterrestrial. They live in the ground.
Multidimensional
beings. That's all allegory that they're saying.
Excuse me, if you don't mind me interjecting. All of this is very highly speculative. It's I don't know.
I do know.
Just a quick comment. All we know is that we're here now, and from that point we can derive other things to be understood. But all of this dust, stars, I don't know. It's highly speculative. It's not something that I don't know.
I mean, like, how do you come to those conclusions about these? I mean, if you're finding it on the net,
my own experiences. How do you come from anything? Own experiences. That's where that's how I know about it. Had my own experience with all this stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't talk about anything I say unless I've had my own experiences. And that's why I talk about what I say.
Oh, okay.
I've experienced it. I've had everyone. There's nothing I don't say here that I haven't had experience with. That's why I can say it. That's why I don't have a problem.
I don't have a problem with that. It's just like UFOs. Then it doesn't mean that they come from out there. UFOs. It's just technology that you don't know about. Because we're living in the past.
Yeah, that's right. Very true. I'll agree with that.
We're living in the past in a sense. I mean, all the magazines that you see in scientific journals, all the technology that they show you, it's all stuff that's old. Like, you can read books.
Yeah, very true. I'll give you that.
I always mention a book from Francis Bacon, the guy who they said was behind...
a philosopher.
Yeah, he said he was behind Shakespeare. He was a lot of things. But
I'm back now. Go ahead.
And he wrote in his book, The New Atlantis, he said he talked about like viral warfare, weather modification, underground submarines, genetically modifying food. He talked about all these things, and this is in the 1600s, and now they're just genetically engineering food and submarines. They just discovered submarines not too long ago. So bullshit. All that stuff is old. That's why they call it research, because they're just doing a search again. It's search that other people found out long ago. And when you understand symbolism, you understand that's what they're talking about when they talk about Jonah and the whale. He got picked up by a whale, and went in the sea and came back up. And the whale, he didn't really sit in the whale. It was a submarine. They used this languaging, and they practiced this type of languaging. They worked at it in the School of Alexandria, where Egyptian priests, rabbis, Gnostics, all people came together, and they came out with the Bible.
Right. Well, it wasn't exactly a school. It was more of a library.
Library.
Library of Alexandria. But I do want to interject something. The name of the room is "What is Truth?"
Mm-hmm.
And truth is something that can be proven. And all of these things, the gentleman from Australia, if he could prove that he's had some type of communication with extraterrestrials, you'd be a very rich man. But see, all of these are very highly speculative things. We shouldn't really say something is if we can't prove it. UFOs, no one can prove that UFOs even exist, period. Nobody can prove that life even exists. I mean,
well, I can prove what I say through deduction and induction and circumstantial evidence. I have evidence. It's not direct evidence, because a lot of these things that happened 60,000 years ago. You weren't there 60,000 years ago, so you can't prove something in that sense. But you can use evidence to prove that, circumstantial evidence. And we live in a world of circumstantial evidence.
Okay.
And in a court of law, you can present that to a judge.
Okay. But deduction doesn't lead you to the truth. Deduction only means that you eliminate certain possibilities from being a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Deduction isn't proof. Deduction is exactly what it is. You just deduce that these possibilities could be more likely true than these possibilities. Deduction is not proof.
Okay.
And circumstantial evidence, that's just an axiom that's used in the court of the American jurisprudence. That's not proof.
No, it is proof, because
because
what I do, when I research, I look at it from phonetic. I use the phonetic method. I use the allegoric method, and so many different methods, and they all come into the same conclusion. And it's true. If you keep coming to the same conclusion, then it's true. Then.
But that's not what circumstantial evidence provides you. Circumstantial evidence says there's some missing parts. I went to school for criminal justice for 4 years. Circumstantial evidence says I don't have all of the parts, but we're going to assume that some parts can be inserted just by the other parts being, you know what I mean?
It's the whole world is full of circumstances. That's all there is.
No, sir.
Well,
for this topic that I'm talking about.
Well, I'll even ask something here real quick as far as the whole thing about UFOs. UFOs in themselves, are just unidentified flying objects. So they can be piloted by people, so that's been proven.
Sure.
They could be military craft.
In a technical sense, you're right, but I think in the context, what we mean is UFOs is something that possesses advanced technology, something that's beyond this age. I think that's what we mean.
Well, see, when you talk about ages, man, they're way ahead of us in technology. When they give us what they call cutting-edge technology, it's only obsolete to the elite. They've had it for a lot longer. They just haven't put it out to the public.
That's right. Yeah, they've been around for a long time. And another thing, too, I've noticed, too, that if you go underground bases or say, they reckon there's actually technology that's 10,000 years more advanced than what we got now, but it's only because we haven't been shown this information. And if you we're showing this, you would actually know that there's a lot more than things. So not every what we perceive our own physical eyes doesn't mean there's not truth. There's some of the truth is beyond our physical understanding of our physical eyes. Some of it's got our spiritual eyes.
You can go back
there is proof.
Or multidimensional eyes.
Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. I understand this is your show, but just give me a moment, okay? Just give me one moment. There is no empirical evidence for extraterrestrials anywhere, nowhere. And to assume that there is gets off the point of what is truth. Scientists don't speculate about what is. Scientists research and study what they can see, hear, feel, and touch. But you can't. You know, those types of things don't regard to UFOs. It's highly speculative, all of it.
Yeah, I can see that.
So what were you saying about? I don't think I caught what you were saying about what is truth. Or?
Well, when you talk, the name of the room is "What is Truth."
Uh-huh.
Truth is what can be proven. If it can't be proven, it's not true.
That's what do you prove it to yourself? What do you mean by proving? Like, what do you mean?
Proving it by measurements, by mathematics, by science, by it. Everything that exists according to some kind of universal law. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. If that universal law can't be measured or observed, then that thing does not exist. You have to apply certain scientific methods.
Well, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It means it might not exist.
Well, I mean, that's just one. If you can't see a universal law that applies to a certain thing, then you can't. You're right. You can't say that it doesn't exist, but you have to use other scientific methods in order to prove that thing to be true. It has to be something that can be proven or measured mathematically.
So I don't believe that.
If it can't be measured or tested or observed or hypothesized, it's not true. It's just not true. It's
not true to you. Well, that's how you.
But I mean, I don't want to veer off topic here, but make another point too, though. I mean, I don't want to veer off topic here, but the point I want to make is that even with science, I mean, you have to even question the evidence they give you at your science, because your science is being used to mislead you too.
Well, I mean, it's just no. Well, I mean, when
science works on grants, right? I mean, that's like saying let's use the media. Let's use the avenue of the media to give people truth. Like,
what if you're not
let's use the system's tools to expose itself.
If you're not going to use science,
the system doesn't give you tools to.
Hold on, brother. I didn't interrupt you, brother. I know this is your room, and I don't want to make you offensive. I don't want. But you seem kind of hostile towards me. But I'm just here to talk. If you can't use science, if you can't use universal laws and mathematics and certain scientific methods, you don't have anything.
No, they explain some on scientific methods. I mean, you can use science that you can verify for yourself, okay? But how can you verify anything as far as molecular physics or geometry or like advanced biophysics or anything like that? I mean, any of the higher sciences that we got down here, man, we don't have like a lab in our house, and even if we did, they're 1,000 years ahead of us at it.
So what are you going to use if you don't use those things? What are you going to use to prove?
Reasoning. I mean, pretty much, I'm just using my reason and my intuition.
No, reasoning is what is the application of those sciences. What you use to apply those sciences. Reasoning can't be. Reasoning is only a generic concept, but we're talking about concrete. We say mathematics, but mathematics is a concrete science. It's a concrete science that's been accepted through the whole ages, through the history of man. But yet we want to throw that out and say, okay, you can't use mathematics. What's math to you is not math to me, but you can't do that.
Science was given to us, man. It's not the science we're given isn't even science. They don't follow the scientific method. It's used to create a religion. They sit there and say, okay, we want people to think this way or that way, so we want to manufacture evidence to get them to think that way.
So if you don't use science, what are you going to use? Reason?
Well, yeah, I mean, basically life experience, reason. I mean, experience. I mean,
reason is subjective. Reason is subjective. Reason is only the process that you use in order to figure out what's going on. Reason doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to come to the correct conclusion. Reason just means that you use certain exact measurements to come to a conclusion.
And that's why you have to marry the reason with your intuition.
Intuition is speculative.
I don't know if you understand what
you can never get to truth without using concrete science. It's impossible. Why even have the discussion? I don't understand.
Yeah, I believe you really do need science, because without science, and like to say, and there's so many sciences that we don't understand, and if we use science, we're going to have to prove so many things that we don't even understand. We may not think it's true now because we don't have that science, and with those sciences, like you're saying,
but
intuition a whole different reality.
No,
you
but
need those type of sciences.
There's only one reality. There's only one reality. There's only one. There's only one reality. Once we begin to understand that, then we can go. But there's only one reality.
Yeah, but it's interpreted differently because everybody has different experiences. They grow up differently.
Well, the interpretation is something else, but the reality itself never changes. It's constant. The way we
But reality is nature. Nature isn't mathematics and science.
It's just those are just tools. Those are just tools.
That's how they try to measure nature and understand nature. But that's not. But that's the most original.
I mean, if you want to understand nature, what you really need to understand is your basic senses.
But nature is
sight. All your senses, like this. You have to smell, touch, like living on a farm or something, and living with animals and seeing their behavior, and you'll see what reality is when you see all of their different behaviors and how they react to things.
Study the different animals, what they do, how they gather food, and that's.
So what are you going to use?
Take that all for granted, but that's
what are you going to use to prove what you know is true? Reason and deduction, circumstantial evidence, and hypothesis.
Intuition is like, when you have a gut feeling, it's like it's
speculative. It's speculative. All of those are generic concepts, intuition.
To you, I don't know to you because you don't understand what I'm talking about.
Intuition can't be measured.
You don't know what intuition is, so you don't know what I'm talking about. So you have a preconceived notion, like I told you the first time I spoke to you. You don't understand what intuition is, and I tried explaining it earlier, but you don't want. I guess you didn't hear it or you didn't listen. I said it in the first time I spoke to you. Intuition is all the ancient knowledge from how far your DNA goes back. It's like an archive, an internal archive.
I'm going to look up the word the word intuition. I'm a scientist. I don't go on. I'd rather have a concrete meaning and axiom and principle for everything. And I'm going to look up the word intuition. We're going to see if it applies to natural sciences or not. And I don't think it will.
But that's the thing right there, man. Like I said, these sciences, you can't really prove anything or disprove anything with these sciences because they feed you crumbs, man. The people.
It's like I'm talking to a Christian and he's running back to his Bible to prove it to himself because he has to see it in his Bible. Like, you can't look at it. The whole world. You can't. It's the whole thing about seeing it differently.
No.
I'm talking now, and you're cutting me off, man. Can you let me talk?
Go ahead. You had an attitude with me before I even came on the show, so go ahead.
What do you mean?
Had to add that in there, right, bro?
Go ahead.
Add that little stab in there.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm just trying to understand. Go ahead, brother.
All right, well, he was trying to explain it, so let him explain. You could sit back and listen, and you could Google search what you got to Google search.
But it's the whole world, how you were brought up to look at it is different. It's different from how it actually is, like, because you're taught to look at things from another perspective, like the way you look at words and the words that give established meaning of things. There's another way to look at those words that give you another meaning.
Yeah, but we're using the English language to communicate.
And
right?
the English language is a totally encoded language.
It's updated.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute. we're using English language to communicate the ideas, and we have to have some basis or some common understanding of the ideas or concepts that we're trying to convey. That's why we use English language. You don't
and the
have
ideas are controlled ideas because you're not you're not getting the full meaning out of. You're not getting the full meaning.
I'll come back next week.
You can't make up the meaning of your.
I'm tired of talking over people, man. I'm tired of that.
Just be quiet. Hold on for a second, because I was quiet for a good little while. But you can't make up the meaning of your own words when you're using English. You have to have a common understanding of what a word means when you use it, so it relates to a concept that you're conveying. Period. That's why I'm looking it up, because you use the word intuition. Let's get a common understanding of what intuition is. Don't make up your own definition of what intuition is. Let's get a common understanding of what it is.
Work with the common concept, with the common understanding of what
That's why I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
You have to research. You can't just go willy-nilly. You have to be a scientist.
You're misunderstanding me. You think I'm going about this willy-nilly, and I'm not, man.
Well, you don't want me to look up the word. I don't understand how.
I never said I didn't want you to.
I mean, you say
I look up words all the time. I have a dictionary.
Well, you say I'm running to the dictionary like a Christian runs to the Bible, as though it's something bad. You know, in order to find out what truth is, you have to have some common basis and understanding of words and concepts. Period.
I don't know, because what when people didn't use words? They didn't have words.
That's not the case here, Creation. We're using words. We're using the English language to communicate. So if you don't have a common understanding of what a word means, how can you communicate?
There's other forms of communication that are disregarded.
Pardon?
There's other forms of communication that are disregarded. Like, look at ants. Look how they communicate. They use pheromones.
Yeah, but we're not ants.
I'm using an example. I mean, the human beings can communicate in other ways.
What other ways can we communicate? Human beings.
When you look at a woman, right, and you look at a woman's body and look at her breast, that's the communication right there. But that's all covered up.
Verbal. I don't see you, Creation. You don't see me. We're not having a cup of tea. We're using words over a medium of the internet. Yeah. So the only thing we have is words that we're using in this particular forum. But yet I don't understand how you guys.
Yeah, we're using the words because that's all we know. But I'm putting it to you, there's an other side to that language that you use. There's a whole other side to it which gives you another understanding, another overstanding. It's not you're looking at the words in one.
They're reveiling them. They're reveiling all the words.
See, and you gotta look at it from the other side of it.
Yeah, but you guys are doing this speculative type, these other sides. But that's not how you get to what truth is. That's not a scientific approach.
Oh, hey, what works for you, man? Do what works for you.
Well,
that's what works for you. That's what you do.
You don't need to look it up.
That's what you do, man. That's all right.
A dictionary meaning of what intuition is. There's no need to even go there.
All right, you can do that. That's how you roll, man. Did
you find it?
That's what helps you get through life, and that's what
No. I'm not. No. It's not all about me. It's about if you are in the search for truth. It's about yourself too.
I do it my own way, so that's this.
Well, your way
you can do it your way.
The right way, brother. Everybody's got their own way.
Oh, but your way, I know. Your way is the right way. All right.
No, see, well,
let's all take a seat back and listen to this. All right, preach, brother, preach to me. Come on.
Oh man, get out of here, man. You see, you're
I'm just reversing what you're doing to everyone else. That's all.
Well, I mean, all right, whatever. I mean,
It's the mirror. See, it's the mirror.
I mean, when you're saying to somebody, this is not the right way, this is the wrong way.
Well, I don't want to hear that BS, man. I'm not here. You don't know me, so don't even come at me like that.
And you don't know me, so don't come at me. It's the same exact thing. It's the mirror.
Well, no,
I'm just mirroring you right now.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the other Caucasian gentleman.
You're talking at people, right?
What other Caucasian gentleman?
Who's Caucasian?
I don't know. I assume he's Caucasian. I don't know.
Oh.
All right,
but
man. I'm tired of talking to you, man.
You're gonna mute me now, right?
You're not going anywhere, man. You're looking for an argument, man. This is not.
What? come on. Why are we turning away from? I want to talk about science. Let's go back to, let's get away from these.
What's the topic of the show? How about we talk about the topic of the show? Let's stay on topic.
What is true?
Is this your show? You gonna come in and just misdirect? I mean, stick to the topic. The host has a topic that he'd like to discuss, so let's discuss the host topic.
There was no topic when I first came in here. The gentleman didn't have a topic when I first spoke to him.
No, I didn't have a topic. No, I said I was talking about.
All right then.
I said I was talking about reality, and I said it's not just one thing I talk because it's all connected. Like I said in the beginning, everything's connected. It's not like how we were taught in school, where one area is science, one area is math, one area is social studies, but it's all connected. And to come at it from one direction is kind of impossible because
right.
It like
because you're talking about the system.
Yeah.
And the system,
the system, nature, reality.
Why is there an echo?
Because this guy.
I mute him. If you mute him if he's not talking because it's very. I can't even understand what he's saying, to be honest with you.
Just mute the echo.
But everybody gets upset, and it's just like Christians. When I talk to Christians, they get upset because you're talking about concrete concepts and axioms and principles and universal laws. Why get upset when I use those? I don't understand. What's so offensive about that?
But what you think is concrete and universal?
Well, concrete again, like I said, concrete
you just
is
cut me off. Like, I don't understand you, man. Like,
it's all right, brother. It's okay. This all right. It's okay. It's not that serious. You asked the question, I'm going to answer it. Concrete is mathematics.
Yo, this guy, man, like, you can't even see, like,
called
right in front of you, man. Yeah.
I don't see what's so funny. I really don't. This you're turning this into a freak show, a sideshow. If that's what you kind of show
you did that, man, not me.
Wow.
Well, I'm answering the questions.
Wow.
I don't see what's so funny. But
I'm talking and you cut me off, man. I mean, I don't have to explain this to you, man. This is like,
no, man.
If you can't see what you're doing right now.
Now, man, you guys are, you're taking shots at me that you wanted to take from the very beginning when I came on the show. But go ahead. But again, you guys, you can talk, but you can't disprove what I'm saying. Mathematics is a concrete science. I said that before. What's concrete? Mathematics is concrete. Am I right or am I wrong?
I disagree.
Certain levels of math are designed to sift out certain types of students. People that get hundreds or something on certain tests is a certain brain function that they're looking for, that they're sifting out. So all these algebra problems and such is designed to get a certain person moving to the head of the class. It's not necessarily just for proving reality and truth. It's for sifting out people.
Okay. I really didn't want to debate. Like, okay, you made your point, all right?
Debate.
I disagree.
So what, debate?
You made your point. I disagree. Can we move on now?
I mean, I don't. To be honest with you,
because you kept repeating the same.
It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
What do you mean? Why do you keep telling me that, man?
It's all right if I repeat. It's all right. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. But I mean, my conversation might be ending up pretty soon because if you can't accept mathematics as exact science, there's no other. I don't. You get into stuff that I don't really want. Speculation, and I don't really get into that as far as what the truth is. So I don't understand. I may be fading out from now on, but I will be back.
Yay!
Shut the fuck up. Who cares? Who cares? What is this? You don't know me. You don't know me. Why are you talking to me?
I guess there's a reason for that.
Because you can't disprove what I'm saying. You rather just get upset. This is not your show.
Oh, yo,
who's getting upset here? Who's raising the rate? Who's getting
guest
upset?
13. You could call in. The number is 1724 444-7444. And I'm being directed. I want the ID number. Oh, yeah. The ID number is 76496#. That's what you have to press. £764.96. Yeah, and it'll bring you to this conversation. Yo, still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's that was fun. That was it's not going anywhere. That type of it's a debate, man. I'm not trying to debate. I'm
been there, done that. That's pretty much what it comes down.
Yeah, man.
You can't sit there and say someone doesn't know you and you don't know them, and you're saying the same exact.
Yeah, but that guy came on. He had an agenda from the get-go, man. He had an agenda from the start.
What's his name?
Master Debater.
Oh, okay.
So he tells you.
It says it all.
Yeah, he tells you what he's all about.
He gets off on it.
And he said I had something I wanted to tell him. I had it out for him from the beginning. I was really courteous to the guy, man. I see, even though he make his little smart remarks, leaving comments on the page or whatever. And I was look past all that, and but he still it wasn't me who had the agenda, it was him. He's really good at that. He's it's like a mirror. What he does, he's blaming me for. He's saying I have the ego, I have this, all that, and it's the other.
Just replace all the U's with I's. I'm telling you exactly what I do. But,
yeah, man.
Like I said, Master Debater, he gets off on it. That's what he does. It's fun.
Yeah, some people are like that. I don't know, man. I was expecting, I guess because I started this thing late, I was expecting Raisin to call on Neo, whatever the name is.
Yeah.
I guess he ain't calling.
Yeah. What would you like that?
What happened? I'm waiting for this guy to call. Somebody said he was gonna call in. Being redirected.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's the news? No dose.
I went to a little drive to Connecticut today, and just got to see some nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's a totally different way of opening up your mind, because I'm always stuck around.
Yeah.
Just being around there, it's like you see creation everywhere. You see, wow, this is. It was actually, I was laughing to myself because I took this train ride through Connecticut. I had to pay $10. I was like, wow, I paid $10 to look at what creation gave me for free.
Yeah. When I look at it, it's when I look at nature, man, it's because your brain is constantly analyzing all the time. If you have a working brain, and it's constantly analyzing everything around you. But when you're in an artificial environment, like say in a house all the time, in a room, it's like basically taking Novocaine and injecting it. You're numbing yourself because there's nothing really much to analyze. Cause it's all just
what's there has been analyzed already.
But when you're in a forest or a jungle or whatever, it's so many different things.
Right, because it's alive. So
yeah.
There's always something going on, some sounds you got to be paying attention to, or movement.
Yeah, and I guess that's where they, just from looking at just looking at an environment, a natural environment, you can extract so many things. You can extract medicine. You can extract
Yeah.
ideas. All types of things come from that because all the information is there. It's what the brain does. I think it puts it into order. Like formalizes.
Yeah.
That's what the thought they say is. When you think a thought, you're putting what you see into an order.
Yeah, just I mean, like I was I can look at that landscape, for instance, and I don't have to say, oh, that's beautiful, and put it into words. It just is. I don't have to necessarily think in terms. It just kind of takes over when you're over.
Yeah, but even the word beautiful, like what's attached to that word is a certain type of feeling, I guess.
Perfection.
Yeah. Perfection in itself is just without limitation, I think. It's doing your best.
I think perfection is like in a person is when they're not when they use more intuition than reason, I think, or when it's at least balanced.
Yeah, to me, perfection is just not without the limitations, like Jonathan Livingston Seagull. We said it's being there. Like it's like the whole concept, like with time again, like how the ancients thought. They didn't think of they lived in that eternal present, and that was perfection.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this idea of oh man, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Friday's the day I have fun.
Just even aging yourself and with these terms of 20, 30 years old,
Right.
Yeah. Perfecting in their sense, perfecting. That's what perfection is. It's just squaring everything into the ash law, just putting it into a box. That's what you're doing, kind of like you're just ordering yourself. I've seen that in that movie. Oh yeah, speaking of that movie, that show, Star Trek, man, that Deep Space Nine. Wow, man, like there's a lot of there's so much of that premise in there, man. I was like, wow. Like I came up, I was watching an episode. These people, they call them the shapeshifters or whatever. They had these people living in this fake reality, and their friends broke them out of that fake reality, and they found out later on. They found out these people, they call them changelings or shapeshifters. They had they actually engineered all these races to serve them. Like one race, they call them the Jamahadar, and it's interesting how they gave them that Arabic type of name. That's all linked to the assassins and everything. But these people were bred they just wanted to fight. They were subservient to them, and they made them a genetic thing in their physiology where they were dependent on some type of drug or something. And the main point was that they engineered these people to be one episode they showed this person they engineered, and they found him abandoned. The guy grew up. He just wanted to fight everybody. He just wanted to just kill and fight everybody. It was just in his nature. He knew it. That was who he is, who he was. And I was like, wow, man, that's all the Marines and Army people.
Yeah.
People.
It's like Sparta.
Yeah, man. They just breed these people. I mean, they have all these. I think they have all different selections of DNA, all in Greenland. They could just pick it out. Okay, I want this type of. Okay, we want these type of people.
Yeah, or the military cemeteries.
Yeah.
If your DNA updates constantly, and think about it, the last time they died was at war, getting shot or killing someone. So
Yeah, no, a lot of, you look at the military families, why is like everybody in that family just like fighting some type of war? It was always in the military, like look at George Bush. His father was FBI. It was always in some type of service.
Yeah.
Whole family. Yeah, they're all bred for that, just to be subservient to that.
Yeah,
the master.
and most people fight wars, but within themselves, not facing up to the reality.
Yeah, that's the real war. That's the war that everybody's going through.
Yeah,
all the time, and that it doesn't have to be like that. But,
no.
Since they were,
and that's what I mean. Going in, just being around like nature today, and it's a big deal because I live in New York City. For those out there listening, but so just that break, and it's one thing to go into a park in Long Island or something, or Central Park. It's really not. It's really a joke. Mm-hmm. But when you go somewhere where it's just the mountains are rolling, the hills are rolling, there's just streams, creeks everywhere, and rivers. I was next to a river most of the time, like watching the rapids, and you're watching all types of nature take its course right there. Mm-hmm. Like it broke me out. Even I was like hypnotized by it. I was like, wow, this is really, and I think that's the only place you can be where you'd actually become yourself. Just that visually looking at something like that and being around it, smelling it, touching things, touching the trees.
Pick the people who don't see, who are blind, born blind. They can still extract things just from listening, smelling things. It's actually like heightened.
Yeah.
You can picture that with other animals like bats and stuff. And how they don't even really need to see, and they get around fine and stuff. So.
Yeah, especially if you're flying around at night,
Yeah, I guess that's all part of that adaptation. Adaptation to me, it's like another way of learning. It's like it's like you're just learning about environment. Learning all you need to know. Now you know how to move around the environment.
Yeah, we do it on the surface. Other animals do it under the water. Like I
do it underground.
Underground.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking. I'm learning a lot more about these people, this race, Neanderthal.
Mm-hmm.
How and I see in my mind, I don't know, maybe it was intuition or something. I was just picturing Neanderthal as actually weird. It was a dream. In my dream, it was like in my mind, I saw Neanderthal actually was like living in a cage. It's just like a specimen. Like they're not even around anymore. Like it's just that was weird, man. Maybe it's the stuff I'm reading or whatever things I'm going over. Maybe that's why I had that, but I don't know. Like just living, like when you when you look at all the allegories, and a lot of times they talk about underground cities, and I'm thinking this season must have been like the most luxurious places to live, man. It's like if you look at examples, look at Hollywood Entertainment. Look how the what was that show used to have, The Rich and Famous, and they used to show how people, because basically it says the richer you get, the less you have to do, the more luxury. It's more of all luxury is about just you don't have to do this anymore. You don't have to do this.
The leisure class.
Yeah, and can you picture the leisure class times 10, where they just don't even have to talk anymore? They just and it got so bad. It's like you don't even have to exist anymore. You just got. It's just all you need. Oh, it's just a thought of you. That's it. That's all I had to do, and then that thought was put in the computer.
Right, or I exist in your neck.
Yeah. Well, that's fucked up, man. That's some crazy shit, man.
Piggyback. Yeah, I mean,
I just want to know why I was muted. I mean, I just want to know. I don't really care about it. I didn't call in to talk. I just wanted to hear what the show. But I want to know why I was muted. What's the deal with that?
I mean, if I have to tell you, man, come on, man.
Was it because I cursed? Was it?
What?
Was it because I cursed, or what was it? I want to know what the reason was.
I mean, you're just being argumentative all the time, and I'm not.
There's nothing wrong with being argumentative. It's nothing wrong. Don't fear arguments. You know what I mean? Don't fear that. I mean, you know, that's what it is. You know.
It's not that type of show here, though, man.
Oh.
It's not here. It's not Master Debater show. You know, it's not a debating show.
Oh. Anal retentive.
All right, so what were you saying then?
I got distracted though.
But I'm very intelligent, you know, and I don't mind mute. I've been muted all over talk show. It's okay, you know. It's not that serious, but don't be afraid of a little. Don't be afraid of a little argument, a little debate. That's what it is all about, you know.
They've also been there, done that. Like I'm at the point where I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to debate, master debate, whatever you want to call it, with people anymore, you know.
Well, I mean I'm
beyond that, master debate. I'm beyond that. It's in my past, man. I learn from things and I take that knowledge that I learn and I move on. I don't need to do it over and over again. What did I learn? What did we learn from the conversation that we had earlier? So I didn't really learn much, man. I really didn't learn much.
I mean, that's, you know.
It's a waste of my time. I don't like wasting my time, man. I don't like that.
Time is running short. You know, there's no time.
Oh, man, yeah. See, you wanna bring me in, but you don't want to talk to the other guys taking pot shots at me. You know, stirring me up. You know, when they take shots at me, you don't say nothing. But when I get stirred up, you want to mute me. You know, I'm not here to be, you know, criticized or taking pot shots at.
That's not why I muted you, man. I muted you because the conversation. The main reason why was because you keep cutting people off, and the conversation was going nowhere. You kept repeating the same thing.
Sit back. Hold on. I said I was going to sit back. I was going to fade out, and I was going to give you respect to go ahead and have a conversation.
You're doing it again, man. You're doing it again.
But I mean, you know, it's all right. You know, we're afraid of being challenged. That's all it is. You know, a debate or a challenge or what you want to call an argument has a bad connotation, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. You know, it's just the fact that we don't want to be challenged.
That's all media bullshit.
I knew you were going to mute me. I knew that's what you had in your head from the from the onset.
So you should have never even called in if you knew I was going to do that.
Well, I figured
that's wisdom right there, right?
When I first called in, no, I didn't think you were going to do that, but a minute before you did it, I knew that's where you were going to go. Mm-hmm. That's why I said I'm just going to chill. I'm going to sit back. I gave you that respect. I was going to sit back and chill, but you just muted me. But it's okay. You know, that's what talk show people do here. When they're challenged or when someone has a different opinion, you cut them off. You know,
talk show people. This isn't a group.
The people on talk show, whatever you want to call it.
It's the people anywhere. This is regular ass people having. I mean, it's not like I'm not getting a paycheck from talk show to get up here and talk, and you know. But it's just a program used to, you know, it's a program used to record a conversation. That's all it is, man.
I didn't call nobody out their name. I wasn't doing none of that. Only thing I was doing presenting. I might be a little loud, but you know, that's a stereotypical, you know, how we're stereotyped as black men being loud, and when we're loud, we're out, you know, unruly. But that's not necessarily the case. You know, people on talk show, they have these shows, and they have a concept, an idea they want to present, but when someone challenges them, they mute them.
Well,
but
hello.
But I don't do that.
Hello.
If I have a show, hi. If I have a show,
somebody else
I would
talking.
No, she just said hello. But I wasn't finished though. You know, but when people have challenging views, I get muted all over talk show. Why?
You have a track record, man. You should look to yourself for that answer.
Hey,
hold on a second.
Don't do that, brother.
Can you hold on a second?
I'm not
Somebody
taking
was
shots
trying to come
at you,
in.
man.
Can you hold on a second?
Hey, tell that brother, don't take shots at me, man. I'm not here to. Don't take little silly shots at me. I'm not even talking. I'm talking to everybody in general.
you're talking over other people who are trying to interject. First of all, you started off your conjecture with questioning the nature of his page, which is what is truth. He's not making a blanket statement. It's a question. What is truth? He's not saying this is truth.
I understand that.
I'm on that topic.
And that, you're misrepresenting me. I said in the quest for what is truth, there's certain things that you have to have in line or use certain tools in order to get to what truth is. He never presented really a general premise for me to debate. I was just saying for the name of this room, in the search for truth, you have to have certain tools that you use.
You made your point, but you keep repeating yourself. You're not saying anything new here. So
I haven't repeated myself since I've been muted.
Oh man, hey, you keep saying the same thing, man. This is like 5 minutes. 5 minutes now, and you keep and the conversation is going nowhere.
Still haven't learned.
Really? Is that how you characterize nowhere? But it's okay. What's wrong with someone going nowhere? It's okay.
Because you're wasting my time.
Talking.
Man.
I know you're not going to get anything accomplished because we're speaking with ego. You know, it's ego talking.
I think I made some pretty good, valid points that being overlooked as far as mathematics and science. But all those things are being overlooked, and I'm just being characterized.
They're not overlooked. It's been there, done there. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what process I've gone through personally.
Who are you? Because you're taking a lot of shots at me. Who are you?
My name is Vivian Britton. I'm a guest on the show. I was invited to attend.
Hey, Vivian, what's going on?
Hi, Vivian. I wasn't specifically talking to you. I was talking to the gentleman who keeps making shots at me. But see, when you have a show, you want things to be orderly. But you don't want to mute that guy. You just want to mute me for responding. I don't understand. That's anal retentive.
You have no respect.
Like I said, I was going to sit back. I was going to give respect to the guy's show and just sit back and just listen. But before I could do that, I was muted. 10 seconds later, I was muted. I didn't. Pardon?
You don't have to even let another guest interject. I've been trying to talk to you, but you keep talking over me. So where's the respect in that?
Well, go ahead.
And here, first of all, it's Jared's show. Okay, you need to understand there's some hierarchy here. He took the initiative to put the show up on the air. So as a guest, you call in, and you've shown nothing but disrespect toward him and toward the other callers.
No, I disagree. I mean, you're characterizing. I don't want to get into characterization. I want to talk about the fundamentals of the debate. That's the only reason I called in. But everybody's taking shots at me, but I'm not here to do that.
No, you've called in with an agenda, and all you're doing is taking pot shots and using tired old rhetoric.
You're taking another shot at me. If I take a shot at you, we're going to go at it, right? Is that what you want to do?
Take a shot with. You're repeating tired old rhetoric, tired old mathematics. The father of mathematics is Pythagoras. What do you know about Pythagoras?
I know a lot about Pythagoras, actually. I study him pretty in depth.
Okay. Well, do you understand that many of them are still unaccepted by science today?
Well, his theory was used to make the atom bomb.
Catching up with the past. Do you understand that? So don't talk to me about mathematics.
That's why, listen, when they said that, that's why I said I'm going to sit back, because when you don't accept mathematics as an exact science, it's nothing. That's why I said I'm going to sit back.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you
because you're just coming in. That's why.
No, I've been listening. I decided to jump off when I heard your BS.
Oh, a BS. Okay. All right. Taking shots doesn't, it doesn't move me. It just shows that you don't have an intellectual, premise to present.
All right. See, masturbate. You just wasting time, man. I told you.
Brother, I'm not. What am I doing? I'm not saying anything. Everybody's taking shots at me, but I'm the bad guy.
If this is my show, I would have helped you. Jared has been very patient with you, much more patient than I would be.
So what? It's okay. It's not that serious. It's a talk show. It's not that serious. It's okay. We're having. I think it's a substantive debate about things that. Don't characterize me again, please. Don't do that. I presented a lot of theories a lot of axioms, mathematic principles, universal concepts that are not being presented here and not being discussed. And I think, generally speaking, if everybody would listen to it, I think they would think it worthy of discussion at least.
Okay, why don't you present a universal axiom? I'm all ears.
Okay, after taking shots at me, now you wanna have a civil debate. Is that what you want to do?
Are you capable? The subject matter is mystery.
I mean, here we go. Of course, you don't know whether I'm capable or not. Don't brother. Don't talk to me, bro. Talk to everybody that's being uncivil, bro. It's just not me, bro. Everybody taking shots.
All right, man. Respect the time, man. All right.
Nowhere. It sounds like he's just calling in to usurp the purpose of the show, which is discuss the mystery of the mind.
Exactly. That's why he calls himself Master Debater. That's his agenda. It's a debate. So how you doing, Vivian?
I'm doing good. I was intrigued by the subject matter, mystery of the mindless. I can certainly relate.
Yeah.
And I think he exemplified exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I hope you're listening.
Yeah, man. He's just saying, "Hey, I'm stupid. Pay attention to me," basically.
Yes. He somehow, I don't know if he calls in, how many of these shows he calls into, but he's obviously, there's something about you that perturbs him.
Mm. Yeah. Well, from the first time he came on, the first time I had the show, it seemed like an attack from the first. He's like, "Well, that's wrong. Everything, you're wrong. You're wrong."
That's right.
And I'm not. I don't even come at people like that. Hey, you're wrong about this.
Well, yeah, and then when you present a logical argument, he's incapable of doing it, and that's where he backs off. Oh, you're attacking me.
It's from like he's like running around in circles, and I see an agenda there. It's just not like, even like when you say something valid, it's like, run around like, well, now you're characterizing me. Now it's ridiculous, man. He's just wasting my time. And
she said tired old rhetoric. That's what she said.
Exactly. So, you said you've been writing a book now or something? Or?
Oh, I'm putting things together. Who knows how far I'll get with it? But
Yeah, last time I remember seeing you on the Outlaw Forum. It was I think you were having an argument with Neo or something, or somebody. I'm not sure exactly.
No, I don't recall that.
It was like a long time ago.
Really?
I seen it. When you were you made a post on. I think it was you.
No, I don't think so. I generally don't interact with people much on the forums.
Yeah, this was like a while ago. I think months ago.
I don't know. I have to go back in there and take a look at that. Now you got me curious.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Even though the forums, it's like the same thing. Same. I'm really tell you the truth, I'm getting tired of the internet. I'm just tired of it. It's like you come across you have something or whatever material that things that you come across, conclusions you come to, and people it's like a duty. People they just had to attack you.
Mhm.
And then that just tells me, okay, I must be doing something right. If all these people want to attack me, then I must.
I don't know why everybody wants to think the same. You can have your own view, your own way of doing things. Why do we all have to have one universal way to do it?
Because people like predictability in their lives. They love just it being predictable. Like I was talking to somebody last week, like they can't go through their lives like the future being unknown type of thing. Like it has to be like.
Right. On my website, I actually deleted the blog function. I deleted the comment section actually because just the BS that people come back with, and they're like you said, it's they can't get beyond their own little paradigm, and when somebody challenges it, that person is the bad guy. for making them wake up or challenging their little black hole that they like to live in.
Yeah.
Like some people in their caves, and so I say let them stay there.
And really, it's impossible unless you spend a lot of time with someone to show them every way. You know,
it's really you can't. From what you can't just show somebody the way. I mean, I present things to people, but it's more valuable when a person comes
do it yourself
on their own.
Right.
Because you have different experiences. You grew up differently, different environment, so you're not going to see things exactly how I see them.
I think the best thing to do is just put your material out there, and the people who are awake and ready for it, they'll respond. But I don't try to elicit.
Yeah, I'm not searching out for people. They usually come to me.
Right, and those are the people that you want to deal with. And then you have your usurpers like Master Bates.
Yeah, man. He's not the only. Actually, he's as far as debating on internet, he's not the only one. Like,
yeah.
I used to go to this whole thing with another guy, Neo, on the forum, and it was the whole thing over there with that person.
He sees another black guy on here, and he's challenged by it. Somebody who can have to think. That's what I see. Just as a casual observer.
Yeah. Well, who sees another black guy?
Well, him.
Oh, Neo or
he keeps referring to his brother.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, you can tell just by what he says. He lives in that like American mentality, like where it's like almost like it's the word
There you have a very
like an Afro like centric type of thing, it's almost like that type of mentality is like blacks, almost like it's like a superiority they have.
I think he makes I mean, what do you know about this? Is he like a fundamentalist Christian?
I don't know. I don't think he's a fundamentalist Christian, but like just from the first time I spoke to him, he said, "Oh well, Caucasians can't understand reality or something like that." And that just tells me he lives in that box.
Right.
So like the conversation can't go anywhere, something like that. It's the same thing I have with Christian people. Like you try to tell them something, I don't try to attack what they believe. I just say, hey, well, think about this, and they just, it's like a fail-safe in their mind. It's like, no, that's not true. And they have a
rational. Try looking at it this way.
Yeah. It's like the Socratic method. Like Socrates asks questions rather than just say.
Really, that old axiom really holds true. Never argue with an idiot.
Yeah.
You're just going to go around and around and around. Nothing is accomplished.
Because they bring you down to their level and beat you with experience.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I've got plenty of it.
Yeah.
We're on to you.
Hello?
Yes.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I was just that was for Masturbator. I told him that one was for him.
Yeah. Well, he's loving that now. People are talking. He's getting. See, that's what. But
ego thing.
Yeah, on that forum too. I when I set up that forum, I put that quote from Moreau.
Mm-hmm.
He says, 1,000 people are striking at the branches of evil, to one who's striking at the root. Because everybody, and that's another thing too with this. A lot of people want to talk about all the symptoms, but nobody really is talking about the root of the problem. And that's what I've been focusing on.
The root of the problem comes down to this mass consciousness of apathy and comfort with the status quo that I see rampant in humanity.
Yeah, well, what I find is like it's rooted to engineering, and that apathy is just you could also say it's responsibility. People don't want to take responsibility. They want to be children, forever.
Yeah. So they want to be led. There's, you have two kinds of people. You have sheep and leaders, and most people are sheep. They're deathly afraid of ever looking inward, of ever examining themselves. So they surround themselves with all the superficial trappings.
Yeah, it's the environment that makes them like that. Like they've been socially engineered to be like that.
They are, and the food, of course, doesn't help.
Yeah, you can't blame those people for being like that because they're just following a program. They're robots, and it's just following instructions. It's the person who's making the program that you point the fingers at.
I understand that, but I mean, if there, it comes back to, again, the personal responsibility. And you can offer these people the truth, and they reject it. You can offer them an open the door, and they don't want to go out. And ultimately, these people will be the enemy. Because, you have very few people at the top pulling the strings, but you have all these mindless masses who are going to carry out these agendas.
Well, it's the masses who what happened?
I think Khalil Gibran said something to the effect of the criminal could never carry out his agenda without the will of you all.
Yeah.
So it sort of comes back to that. It's the will of the people that allows these things to happen ultimately.
Because the will of the people is actually not the will of the people. It's the will of their controllers.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes down. I was talking earlier with the languaging. The English language is a total control mechanism. And as long as people are still thinking with words that were invented by other people long ago, you're not willing, because these words mean other things to them too. And you're willing somebody else's will, and you're not doing your will. And when it's like for robots programmed to self-destruct, it's gonna self-destruct unless because it's the program it was programmed with, and with the English language, like people aren't like originally people weren't talking in English or communicating in English. It was more vowels and syllables and more and body language too. And
telepathy.
And now it's cut off.
More of the so you're talking back like the Lemurian age.
I'm talking like pre Ice Age, before the flood, before prehistoric, man. Like with what happened?
Okay, so even if you say that, you can't fault the individual who is born into this system. How do you explain the few who somehow break out of it?
Well, that goes with the DNA and
some recessive.
Like the whole saying of, they say an old soul. It's not like soul. It's the DNA. It's
another term for DNA.
Yeah, it's another term for DNA. It's just it's if you lived long, you've lived. Like me, the reason why I'm in this, doing this type of thing is because I'm just attracted to this type of thing, and I've always been different from most people, and I knew this when I was younger. And and I found out that my DNA isn't people might think that can't grasp that, but my DNA has been here more than once. I've lived more than once, and it's becoming more and more obvious to me each day.
It almost remembering take place instead of just learning something new for the first time. It's more like remembering.
Yeah, it's like what Socrates said. He says, when people are learning, it's actually the remembering.
And having the mindless
What? What'd you say?
The mindless masses around us, haven't they lived former lives?
Well, those people, some people could have lived more, but then there's also people who get recombined DNA. That's the whole concept of heaven and hell. Comes from that whole geology of the planet, and when you understand how the planet works, it's like a self-cleansing mechanism. In the core, in the middle of the planet, you have a core, then you have the upper mantle, and you have the lower mantle, upper mantle, and then you have the moho discontinuity, and you have the crust. And the moho discontinuity is like all the remnants of everything that's lived in the planet. It usually makes its way over there, and it goes to other travels and stuff like that. But like
because it's basalt, which comes from the it's at the ocean floor. So anything that's ever lived in the water dies, goes and sinks down to the bottom. So it's like a collection of all of the old DNA that's been there for as however long it's been there. So.
And the salt, by the way, too, is the oceans used to be fresh water, and over time it became salt water, and that came from
matter dying in it.
From, everything. That's why in the Bible it just says, "You are the salt of the world."
Right.
He was referring to people and stuff. And but yeah, so with the planet, it's a self-cleansing mechanism. So if you understand these concepts and learn, you actually learn. You really learn. Your DNA is it's
altered.
Yeah, it's remembered. It's accumulating information. It's not looked at as garbage or whatever. It's not looked at. It's looked at as it's useful, because that's what the whole purpose that I've come to the conclusion to of what life is. It's just learning. It's to learn. That's what the evolution of the universe, what the atom from the very beginning, or the quark, it was learning, and it evolved. And then you have
they actually learn something that the universe considers to be of value, then it does not it does not go through that ritual cleansing at the end of its lifespan.
I guess if you want to look at it, it's the cleansing. Yeah, the cleansing is what the controllers do, like when they do floods and stuff like that. That's that's
combining. It's if you haven't accumulated enough, I guess, wisdom or experiences suitable for being remembered,
Then you just looked at, they take you with other, basically like failures or whatever, and recombine you with other DNA, and then you start the process all over again. But this time when you start all over again, you're not going to be the same, because you're going to be mixed in with other.
And you'll have no intuition. You'll start from scratch. Yeah. No intuition.
And so that knowledge that's inside people, you can access it through the hair. And the hair is sensory. It's a sensor. It's
hair?
Yeah. It's
from your head.
Yeah, when you looked at worms and like evolution and stuff.
Hair is your antenna.
Yeah,
so it's perceiving, and you kind of perceive things. You can perceive things telepathically, for instance, like thoughts or whatever. But hair is basically an antenna. Why else do you have it? For style. It's sensory. It's connected to the sensory nerves in your skull.
So if I was to shave my head bald, I'd have no more intuition.
Yeah,
and that's what when you go to the army, what do you think they shave your head for?
At the risk of sounding like the devil's advocate here.
It's that's why when you join the system they cut off your hair. That's why they have a judge in court with the long hair. It's a symbol of a complete person. And
or when you graduate from any school, whatever, they put the tassel on your head. That's your hair.
Yeah, that's just it being redirected. It's all being
redirected.
Yeah, and so like the information, the intuition is in your spine, because you know, when you read encyclopedias, you'll like see that inside, like they say that there's gray matter in the spine and gray matter in your brain, in your skull. But the gray matter, what happened?
The concept of the lower brain and the lower chakra.
Yeah, it's, I guess that's like an allegory, like they say, like it's they talk about the serpent, the sexual serpent, the bones. They're talking about your spine, your that intuition is in there. See, but like in the New Age movement, the terms that they use, I don't think they don't understand what the terms that they're using, and they're willing somebody else's will. They think they understand, but they're being fooled because they're given they're told.
I mean, one of the oldest trees is a pine tree, right? Mm-hmm. So it's, you know, if you think of the concept of the, you know,
sequoia.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's evergreens, and that's.
So if you put an S in front of pine tree, you have spine.
So.
The tree of knowledge. You know, that's
now,
the tree.
This wordplay that I'm hearing here, if English is a newly created language and it doesn't contribute to spiritual growth, is that what we're insinuating here?
It's like a real thought is images.
Imagery.
And when you're thinking in words, you're like,
you're willing another's will.
Yeah, you're just like taking a thought. It's like
because originally there was no, language in that sense. There was no English, there was no French, nothing. So you thought in imagery, because all you saw around you was pictures of things, landscapes and such. So that's how you thought or how you communicated with, creation, for instance. But when you start thinking about doing something and thinking about this or that, you're using someone else's words that were created for you to use. So you're in the box right there. You're a word slave. You can only think in what they gave you.
Where
but you can only use tools. You can only build something with the tools you got, right? So if you're lacking certain tools, that's how strong your structure will be.
Now the concept that English was a created language.
Mm-hmm.
Is there documentation of this, or is this just someone's theory?
I mean, Bacon.
English. Bacon. Yeah.
And you see all the languages. The allegory they give you this is the Tower of Babel, and they gave different languages to people to separate them. That's the allegory, because all these languages are all connected together. They spent the Ice Age underground creating these languages, and you can only do this with a computer. And they spent Ice Age creating these languages, but all these languages, they all have a common denominator, and because they need to communicate with
that's phonetics.
So yeah, and that's phonetics, and that's linked to Phoenician phonetics. So that's what you'll see in all languages. You'll see this phonetic
denominator,
connector that connects them all. That's another part of this whole coding structure. So like English, and the way how they got to English, I'm sure they use Shakespeare as like a Trojan horse.
Oh yeah, sure.
To bring in
the King James Bible.
Yeah, the Bible. He was behind
the bib,
because they knew a lot of people would be reading that, and
that's the only. They couldn't even read it. That's what they were.
Wasn't he actually Francis Bacon?
Huh? Yeah, Francis Bacon.
Bacon.
Oh, that. Okay.
So Francis Bacon, these people are all like engineered. If you see like people in his family, they're all
they're bred
service to the system. They served it in some way. Like he had I think uncle Roger Bacon or grandfather. And he was another guy who helped this whole agenda along. But like with the English, when you're using a word, it's the analogy of taking a stone, the Masonic analogy, the rough ashlar and the smooth ashlar. The rough ashlar, they basically said, was like chaotic in its true form, the original form, and they make it the smooth. That's them perfecting it. That's what you're doing when you're speaking in words. You're perfecting it in their eyes. And that's what they mean. They mean like they talk about the Philosopher's Stone, like Harry Potter. The Philosopher's Stone is when you break down words to the syllables, because that's what the philosophers use as building blocks.
Right, it's a paragraph.
And it's also related to a symbology for the pineal gland, or pineal gland, as some people pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my personal philosophy as well.
Yeah, well, so yeah, the intuition is like they you'll see like ancient peoples over time, like they made them do things with their hair. They didn't really care about the women doing it because the women weren't a threat to them. It was the men who were a threat because they could just stand up and beat them up. Because the Neanderthalers, the original priests, original dog priests, they were really weak, and they how they're talked about today in the scientific communities, that they were like these big dumb idiots, and they were the opposite of that.
True in a sense, being idiot savant.
Yeah. They were idiot savant, and they were all. I mean,
idiot.
Mhm.
Idiot.
You idiot.
Idiot.
It's interesting that word idiot has ID.
Yeah.
ID.
Pure ID. Yeah,
transmitting pen. So so yeah, that's what basically people are. People are basically experiences and accumulation of experience. That's what you are, and you're just reliving things. That's why they use the symbol of the spiral going up and down. Everybody's just reliving and relearning, and every time you come back, you get tougher and tougher, and you're getting hard. It's the concept of rain in nature. When the rain comes down, it comes back up, and it comes back, and it comes down as snow or an ice.
Snow, then hail.
Yeah, it's a principle in nature, and they use that principle. That's why they call the Iron Man, and they have words like female,
Iron Maiden.
Yeah, it's all because the one that they want is a stainless steel lady. And it's all genetic engineering. They brought this type of lady. They want to put her back in the oven, and those were all the war really was they attacked throughout history was women, because those women were the original people with power in the community, and it was a matriarchal clan society. They basically were judges and all that stuff, and it was a clan structure. It wasn't families like mother and father. That was all the system. Because if you notice in all religion, it's all patriarchal. That's the priesthood. That's all their system. It's all control mechanism. Because marriage is a control mechanism. It's all just moving power over and redirecting it to the males. But the whole movement of women's rights movement, that's not by accident either, because they actually took step by step, thousands of years, they altered the female and actually put the male inside the female body and turned female into we men, they call them. We men, and they made them males, and when they're giving power or rights back to women, they're not giving power to women. They're actually giving it to men in a woman's body. And all these women, they will the will of the system. They're everything about them. I mean, not all women. Very few out there who, retain some type of original DNA, but most women.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Even George Orwell talks about that. He said that the women in the book, he didn't say it in the movie, but in the book, he said it was like women, they swallowed everything up. And you can't really blame the women because they've been browbeaten.
They let you know they've been altered. I mean, they in their name, woman, female,
my stress.
mistress, my stress.
You know,
a lady is a lad.
My dame,
Right.
mad, but yeah. So they talk about like what type of slave that they're, because this new slave, they want to alter humanity and basically toll gate the universe. Because that's what this system is. This whole, all the religion, politics, and everything. It's all just one big toll gating system where they collect taxes. Basically, that's all it's about. It's not about the money per se. It's the infrastructure the money brings along with it. That's what they want. That's what they care about.
And the dominance.
Yeah. So, they basically looked at the bees, and they're following that. How
bees and the ants.
Yeah, the bees and the ants, how they run it, and that's how they're running it. I mean, there's a lot more I'm leaving out because there's so much. It's so much to explain it all. But,
all encompassing.
Yeah, it's like 60,000 years of stuff, and it's just hard to just explain it. It takes time,
Sure. And of course, this is just one person's philosophy. From what I'm understanding, this is Keelian philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you hear Keely say things, he says it from his experiences, his book of life. But when I come at it, because I see it in my own life, I'll tell you it from my version, if you want to call it that. It's not Keely's philosophy. It's me talking here. It's from what I see, and I'm telling you from my experience.
It's a premise, and you take the premise and
exactly. It's a premise that you have to grasp, and you grasp a basic premise, and then the rest is up to you. Then you start putting things together in your life. You'll see it everywhere. There are symbols and signs and everywhere. And it's too much information, all this stuff to learn in a lifetime. But,
or don't. Or don't do it,
But yeah. So like Alan Watt, that guy is always being talked about. He
Alan's twat?
What's he saying?
He gave a lot of hints to this stuff. He gave a lot of hints. And he knows, from my experiences talking to him, he knows a lot more than what he's letting on. And he's just, he's just
not
playing the game. He's in on this act. The world's a stage, like Shakespeare said. And he's just in on the act. He's part of secret societies. He's admitted that to Keely, that he has a relationship with them. So obviously he must be like a member or something.
Right.
When I spoke to him, he's really got really defensive.
Really?
Yeah, he got kind of mad. He said I was fishing, prying in too much. So, but that's just somebody who has something to hide. Because I wasn't asking him about.
That was Alan or
Alan.
The other...
Alan.
Oh, okay. Well.
So, that's what people like me do, though.
Maybe he doesn't know. It could be part of it.
Him? Alan?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he knows more than he lets on. He knows.
He knows a lot. But I believe that because he wouldn't be living where he's living if he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Positioned on the Canadian Shield.
Yeah, he's living at a point right there. Like he's living. What happened?
Is he in some sort of a vortex, or his location, or is it strategically located to avoid catastrophe?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh well.
He's on the Canadian Shield.
Yo, it's Graham.
Hey, Graham.
I talked to you a while ago, Jared.
What's up, Graham? What's going on?
Not much. I thought I'd actually join you. I've seen these invitations for Talk Shoe.
Oh, yeah. What's new?
What's new with me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just writing a letter to the IMF.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this totally sort of fits in with what I'm doing, becoming part of the majority.
Oh, you being part of?
Last time we were talking about the elite, the echelon, and and the majority. I guess the alliance.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You said you wanted to make I guess advance in business or something.
Yeah, pretty much. I want to put my offer on the table to the IMF and say, listen, I'm a psychopolitical agent that has the knowledge base as well as the rhetoric to shape foreign policy to the benefit of international institutions and ultimately to the controller Rothschild Rockefeller elite.
Oh. Yeah, yeah, man, I told you like I said last time like my life the direction my life is going is a little different from that. Because in the end nobody will benefit. If everybody's cuz I'm aware of certain things, and when you're in my position, when you're aware of certain things, then you have no choice but to take responsibility for what's going on and do something about it. Because for me, rather than serve that, I see where it's going. It's actually kind of pointless for me to serve a system. But that's my point of view.
Yeah, well, the system doesn't it's parasitic, absolutely. But at the same time, if you look at it, I think it's resulting in more the centralization of global power. It will probably result in the reduction of the human population drastically in the next century, and quite a few other sort of population control schemes and this sort of thing. That's the only fear that some of us have. But at the same time, it's almost like a relief that we're going to stop harming the environment and actually take responsibility for conserving the planetary resources for eons to come.
Just remember that the system gets rid of its own first.
Yeah. So there's the middle management problem that once a singularity or technocracy starts taking hold, then the middle managers who are just getting in the way, they'll all get taken out by systems such as the Global Hawk and the GPS.
It doesn't have to be middle management. It could be higher ups as well. The highest they go.
I mean, it's who's not needed anymore. It's once they feel done what they required, what they were required to do, they're just taken care of. Because really, ultimately, it's the species of humanity itself that fulfilled its done its job, and they're not needed anymore. Humanity itself, and they're going to create a new type of gender.
Yeah, I liked what you said. I thought I laughed myself when you said artificial insemination instead of artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, that's and then the new gender, again, that's almost like we're sitting at a crossroads and reviewing the truth of that truth, which actually is a truth that we're gathering evidence for.
But yeah, when I see basically the analogy I use is humanity's going towards a brick wall, 100 miles per hour in a car, and I'm like, hey, we need to change course here or something.
Why do you keep unmuting me just to put me on mute again? I don't. What's the purpose?
I never unmuted you, man.
How do you think you're hearing me now?
Sorry.
I just muted you again. All right, but I see humanity going in this one direction, and it's like it's basically towards oblivion, man. And if you know what's going to happen and you don't do anything about it, then you deserve the worst punishment of everybody. Because at least the people who don't know, I mean,
the plan is to wipe out 2/3 of the population in the next 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really going to try to work for these people to help accomplish that goal?
Y'all some dumbass motherfucker. Y'all simple as hell, for real, man. Y'all just hit your button,
Wow, man.
Yeah, I guess we got some fans on the other end.
Now that's entertainment.
That's entertainment,
yeah. So it's like he said basically most of the population is going to be over and done with, and
Northern Hemisphere.
And it's not through they give you all what ifs of they use some type of biowarfare or starvation.
Right.
But it's really the most effective way is what they've done in the past, and you'll learn this looking at mythologies and stuff. They talk about the deluge or the flood, and that's the most effective way.
They use nature, and most people won't see it anyway. And they do these tests here and there. You might see them in earthquakes or different floodings that you hear about, like Katrina and such like that. Groups coming in called black water. And what black water is basically when you have a nova, heating of the earth and then pouring water on top, so you create this mucky type of quicksand type of environment, and that's called black water. So when you're talking about flooding a whole continent and burning it, in stages, for the next.
They say when they say 2020, right? They say in the code, they say the optometrist will tell you you see clearly when it's 20.
Perfect vision.
Perfect vision. So that's them saying that by 2020 everyone will know what's really going on.
Mute me.
Because by 2020 at least the first event should have happened. So there'd be no mistake.
Shock therapy.
They show you in the movie, 2012. Don't think about, the Mayan thing and everyone's talking. That's, I would say, just a way to introduce and keep it.
The reveiling.
Right, reveiling. When you reveal, you reveal. So they're showing you it, but they're also disguising it. They're veiling it again. And just like that, they showed you rocks falling from the sky. The earth is just splitting apart, and every floods are coming in. That's it. That's what they plan to do. That's how you wipe out slaves that you don't need anymore. We're not useful anymore. They've learned from us what they need to learn. We got them to space. So they're on to the next one.
Yeah, it seems like we both have the feeling that the elite don't really care about us.
It's not
even
really
the elite.
The elite are just another type of slave. The elite is just a higher slave. It's all part of the structure that they have.
They're just higher bred or hybrid.
Shut the fuck up.
I know he's probably from New York too, right?
No, I don't know where he's from, man. He's from the land of the blind. He's from the land of the blind.
The land of the blind, right?
Yeah.
From the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, man. To make it a duty of his, to come on and just
has these supernatural powers to unmute the mute button.
He
really
really keeps hanging up and then calling back in. He's doing it again. He's calling back in again.
Say hi.
Spiced up the show, I can say that much.
Your button. You hit your button.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Crazy, man.
It's been wonderful. I have to go get myself some dinner now.
Mhm.
Lovely.
Yeah. Hopefully, next time it won't be as have you ever went into my blog? I have a blog where I have I try to explain it. I have a YouTube page where I try to explain things more visually.
I did. Yeah.
Huh?
Actually, Warren sent me the link, so I'll have to check it out a little bit more when I get more time. But,
are you
Hit
responsible?
your button.
That's nice. Thanks, Jared.
Yeah.
And thanks, everyone. And be in touch, and I'll go and check out your site a little bit more when I get the time.
All right. Nice
you guys
talk.
have a good day.
Thanks for calling. Have a good night.
Yeah.
So what do you factor in Glenn Keeley into all of this?
Oh, Glenn is just like another person, similar to like myself, I guess, in searching for answers. And he's just, I guess, he lived longer, so he's.
Fuck Allah, fuck.
People are so immature.
Huh? Yeah, he is, man. This is why, this is like how, these are the people that they've engineered the system. See, they
yeah.
They control.
They dumb
freak.
people up and they dumb people down.
Yeah, control freak. You gotta believe things the way they do, and it's everything that's come out of this person's mouth is just something the media implanted into his brain as he grew up.
Yeah. Parrot.
What do you think about the rise of globalization and the rise of what I call the global imaginary or the world mind?
The world mind. The world mind. I know one interpretation of it. Marshall McLuhan. He talked about the global village, how everybody's connected through, through communications, like phones and TV,
right. Media.
Yeah. That's one version of it, but in another sense, overstaying that, people are all connected to a central computer, and in a sense, like with the DNA, how people are all linked to DNA. I guess it's a way of connection because everybody has.
Yeah, it's really like healing the rifts on what was a fractured memory and mind of the world. I think if there is some sort of higher extraterrestrial purpose for the planet, then I hope that is what eclipses the stupid ideology of the IMF and stuff. It's just like some political powerhouse for bankers or whatever. That doesn't even make a difference compared with the bigger picture of the Earth as a little speck in space that's controlled by highly intelligent forces.
Yeah, so the Earth is controlled by an intelligent force, and it's actually a computer.
It's controlled in two ways,
Binary.
Shut the fuck up. Y'all don't know what the fuck you talking about.
This guy, man. Wow, man. He really doesn't give up, man. That's
he likes it.
That's a religious person right there. See, that's like a control freak. Like no, you don't know what you're talking about.
No, what it is,
My way.
He loves you. He just doesn't know how to tell you.
But yeah, it's a hive type of computer that runs everything, and everybody's connected to it. Here this guy comes again, man. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys want to talk. I gotta pick up this call. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, I mean, you can go into a little bit more what you're saying, Graham.
I guess we just talked about a hive-minded global computer that connects everyone and is connecting people more and more to this global imaginary consciousness. And I guess the role of a higher form of intelligence in shaping the future of our destiny as a species, and hopefully guiding our evolution forward through both genetics and the evolution of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. You speak of it like it's like in the future.
Y'all ain't retentive, man. For real. Y'all fear being challenged. Y'all don't want everybody.
Okay. Yeah. Now, do you mean in times to come, or are you saying it like it's already here? That would be the question.
I think the world mind has existed for longer than we believe it has. Like, we all think it's happening in our lifetimes, that we're awakening to the awakened. But I think this awakenedness has existed since the beginning of the universe, really. And it's only ourselves that have an awakening to the awakeness.
I caught you in the middle of that, so I didn't get to see. I didn't hear everything you said.
But, I mean, it's different talking about slaves and lemmings and parrots than it is to talk about, a transubstantiated, a phoenix of consciousness that is rising out of the ashes of this despair on Earth right now.
Shut the fuck up. Y'all don't know what the fuck.
It's like he's still saying the same thing. Oh, shit. Yeah. Well, I would say that what you're saying is basically what has been done by control. Control has basically engineered this society for that, type of purpose.
I think what he was saying was like ultimate reality, right? It's always existed, right? And people maybe in the beginning, they always knew this, and we think today people are awakening to that, thinking it's almost like it's something new.
I'm taking over.
But it's actually always existed. Like it's just something that's there. Now we just were. He says the phoenix of consciousness. We just awakening from being dead.
Reawakening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's on like the mental level, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's what each life is. It's an awakening. Each life.
That's what? Each life?
Each lifetime is an awakening.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, awakening, and like, again, remembering the past, because it's something you've seen already.
I'm trying to find out how do you
block.
Yeah, there's a way to do it.
So you're saying, what'd you say, world mind?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, we're part of a sort of global consciousness that we're watching, and it's sort of like turning in on itself.
All right, so what do you mean by global consciousness?
I mean the global village referred to by Marshall McLuhan that we just discussed.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to find out how to block this person. Photo.
Oh, and I guess Jared's into anti-New World Order and looking at how secret societies are on both sides of the game. Today I was thinking about Old World Order and New World Order, and its connection most likely with the Old Testament and New Testament. within the ideology of confined Christianity, anything of the New World Order is also of the New Testament, and anything of the Old World Order is also of the Old Testament. Whatever side you're on, like if you're on the side of the New Age, you're on the side of the New Testament, and everything is confined within the Book of Revelations and everything on that side of the Bible. But if you're stuck and wanting to make things old again, then you can only travel to the Old Testament again and look for your metaphors and ideas there. And so it's a perfect system to contain everything that is old and everything that is new within two testaments of a Bible.
Shut the fuck up.
Control, command, and control warfare system for dominance over human consciousness, creating a priesthood oligarchy that it's all service to this one command, control, and architecture of the Bible.
Well, to even say there's an old world and new world, it's polarizing. So it's always been. I guess they gotta make it a new order because that's the whole process of reaffirming or making something tougher. Like, because when you look at the word new, right? New, right? Oh wow! I just thought about that. If you look at the word New World Order, and it's actually man.
Yeah, I understood that too. Men.
Or New Word Order.
Yes.
Sorry about that thing. But yeah, it's always new in every age. It's always a new world order.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But I guess the anti-New World Order is just the Old Testament.
No, because that's all part of the same thing. It's not.
It's part of the same.
Well, actually, anti and really, I didn't notice when I set up the block. Antis, it's the same thing. It's just part of the same structure. It's dialectic. It's pain. It's pain. It's stain. It's Nazi. Anti. That's why they have anti parties in politics. Anti this, anti that. It's the same thing.
Control opposition.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, and then the biggest thing is that you can make a complete joke out of the opposition, so that the only anti thing is it's like a group like this. This is the closest you get to like a revolutionary hotspot of consciousness on Earth.
Yeah, like it's not even a revolution. I don't know. It's a real revolution because something like this is just like a few. You can't. I don't know if a small group. I guess it can if they all like will their own world. People who actually thought for themselves and will their own world. They could probably do change.
A critical
affect something. Yeah. Affect something that will affect the whole. The whole mass as a whole. That's pretty interesting too. Like it's such a threat having a critical mass, which is 12 people. It's such a threat.
Shut the fuck up.
It's such a threat having a critical mass. That it scares them. I think it scares them, and it's so hard to find. That's what's scary too. Like, can you really find like at least 12 people who think similar to how you think? And to tell you the truth, I only found like a few people.
Yeah, it seems like we're all buying into the lie because we're isolated and thereby controlled. Like if we wouldn't have no tolerance for the lie if we were our own solidarity, our own people. But because we're isolated, we have to buy into the lie in order to further ourselves. Like everybody's buying into the lie. And
because that's instant gratification. That's people who want it now, and they're not thinking. They can't think that far ahead. And that's part of the logic. That's part of the how we're taught at schools and stuff like that. Western thinking is very much like that.
Weirdo.
Western thinking is very much like that. Like if you look at the East and the West, where a 1 + 2 = 3. linear thought. It's just so formed. And then you look at the East, and it's non-linear. It's the other extreme, and really, it's in reality, it should be something. It's a balance
between both.
Yeah, between the two. But like when you look at Western, they think that you can just pay for something and you have it there. Like that's why they have gurus, because they think they can pay for this. Pay for
weirdo.
Yeah,
nothing's weird about this. This is just like normal, like the system.
What happened?
I said nothing's weird about this.
Yeah, I mean, but in this world, if the majority's the ones that are weird or whatever, they can make the person who's normal look weird. It's like that. I remember reading. What's his name? Mute that book. I'm trying to find out how to. Every time he comes on, I mute him.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, he has to sit there and like dial that number every time, wait for the access pin key.
Guy has like no life, man. It's wild, man. It's just sad. It's pathetic.
He hasn't came yet, so he's like waiting. He's like, oh, stop hanging up, man. I'm almost here. I'm almost there. The masturbator.
Crazy, man.
Some people just don't understand. Fuck them, though. That's what.
Yeah, man. This is
So how can we turn this into an empowering situation for all of us?
Will your own will.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. It's
But what
putting
about
the
will of the...
Wait, let Graham. What are you saying, Graham?
Willing the will of the highest, it almost is a self-liberating thing.
It's having control over your life, your own life, and that if as long as you're going to work every day and just paying the bills, to get through. Yeah, you're doing something for somebody else. You're working for somebody else. You're not doing.
You're willing someone else. You're willing your boss's will.
Which in turn wills the will of the economy and stuff.
The system's will.
Yeah.
You have to willing your own will. It's the way I kind of do it is not to think in words. For instance, so think with pictures. As imagery, things that you would like to happen or places you'd like to be. For instance, it's the pictures that that's the original way people thought. They didn't think in words and terms and definitions like that. They didn't have that. They didn't need that. So the communication with yourself was done just visually, and in the different senses. But start with that. Getting around nature, putting yourself in there, surrounding you, getting away from the rat race. Don't be looking at buildings when you look out your window or other people's windows or stuff like that, or cars and horns. You got to get to where the originals, like where did they look at? What did they look at? Get to the woods, get to a river, get to the beach, the ocean.
That's why you see like those rich families are like Bohemian Grove, like it's not an accent, like that's their getaways, like groves of just all trees and stuff, and if you look at people like Francis Bacon and the priests, they all like were always around like nature, studying it like the Egyptians.
Right, exactly. They studied it, but in order to study it, you have to be around it.
Yeah.
Right? So while you're off earning their money in their system, running around, in the city, for instance, you're blocked. Your connection's cut off. So you don't have time to think to yourself. You can't even necessarily hear yourself think. There's always something. There's always a TV on. There's music playing. There's people talking. There's stuff going on. You always got to be paying attention. The clock's running. You gotta get here. You gotta get there. I gotta drop this off. There's always something you have to do. You're preoccupied, so you don't have time to actually just listen to yourself.
Yeah, and you don't get to listen to yourself, and it's even like how you perceive like time and stuff. Like it's the
It's
word.
an illusion.
Yeah. Well, you gotta it's everything. And really it comes down to the environment. I guess. Yeah, you're right. It comes down to this environment, and you'll see how it's all linked to your perception of because you're adapting to something that's not real, and you become what you adapt to, and you become this robot.
I mean, in this world, it's good to know both. It's good to,
I mean, you have to know. Yeah, exactly. You have to know this stuff.
Yeah, my father used to tell me, when you're a young guy, if you want to learn the city, that's great, because then that gives you that street smarts, how to deal with people in that type of situations. Know how to recognize situations that might trouble you. But then, when you're maybe a little older, you go off into the country and you learn that type of life. You can have both, but usually when you're older, you don't want to be around so many people all the time and everyone in your life. You don't have that type of freedom. So learning both in this world, I think, is the best. You have to be kind of, because the guy that's from the country, he goes to the city, he can't move around there.
Well, you can't cut yourself off from the world because that would make you a hermit, and you're not learning that way.
Right.
And you need to you need to keep your foot in the door and see what's going on, see what the direction the world's going in.
Yeah. And they update themselves, or they update, let you know what's going on with news media and such, so that they tell you where they're at in their plan, stuff like that. So it's good to pay attention and interpret the news that way. Look for the allegory that they're using at the time.
Yeah, and there's tons of allegory in the news. I keep noticing. Did any of you notice how MJ died, and if there was any connection with the majority majestic magi system of I guess Scottish Rite Freemasonry at the highest level? If that had anything to do with bankers having a spaz about how Freemasonry is taking over their system.
Yeah, it's not just just Freemasonry. It's all those secret societies. They're all Mason is just I guess Masonry is just
Shut the fuck up.
It's the original, I guess. Yeah, they run the surface through secret societies. So.
Shut the y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
Priceless.
But yeah, MJ died out of that.
Yeah, because they were using. You talking about Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, well they were using him. His whole life was just. It was part of a show.
He's an allegory. He's a walking, living allegory.
Yeah, he is the one, and he was being used by, I think he had a guide or something that led him on, and he was told to do something.
Yeah. Well, with him, it was also a few things. They were trying. Their perfect slave is tan, right? So it's the blending mulatto, black and white. So he in his life went from being black to white. So he even wrote songs about it, black and white. It don't matter if you're black or white, right? Don't matter. So he was that allegory, the completion. So when they completed that phase, they don't need him anymore, So.
Yeah, there's so many conspiracy theories about why he died, or if he died naturally or whatever.
Well, he obviously.
They have heart attack machines, they
can make it look like a natural death.
I always pay attention whenever they say some type of heart failure, cardiac arrest or whatever. It's always a kind of a clue. Drug overdose, shit like that.
Somebody said, "Keep your finger on the button." That's what I'm doing.
Keep your little finger.
So what is the metaphor for the cloning, the bees, the parrots, the lemmings? Why are we using metaphors like this? And like especially when it comes to cloning, like when a central computer system takes a political figurehead like Barack Obama and makes a literal clone that can function as a political agent in the establishment for this higher computer system. Why are we stuck in the rhetoric of using the word clone to describe this, and why is that so confusing? Why couldn't we come up with a better word for it and actually get to the bottom of this so that it actually, if it's a danger, it doesn't become a danger to people, and if it isn't a danger, it becomes something we at least have some access to understand ourselves, so that we can better understand globalization and the future of politics.
Well, you got to cut out that last part, future politics, if you're going to talk about the other point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the future of politics is going to be Sims. It's going to be artificial intelligence agents coming in as simulations that each have a certain bubble of consciousness that they represent, and at any time, this bubble can be modulated by a central orb that controls all the bubbles.
Well, how they say it's going to be run, right? When you look at system, it's the politics is just politics right now.
Right.
If you read those books, I mean,
weirdo.
When you read those books of technocrats, people who worked and used because they're basically technicians of the system. People who worked with used propaganda, like Jack C. Lowe, he says, politics, it doesn't matter. It doesn't play a role at all. All it does really is just a show for everybody. But what's really running is technocrats who are the real movers. To people like Maurice Strong, they're the ones who have who are doing anything, who basically manipulate all that system and use that, and that's how
they're internationalists.
Yeah, and that's how they'll
shut the fuck up.
And that's how they'll that's what they'll do in the future. It'll be like just a type of just technocrats everywhere, and just it's not gonna. Oh, hold on a second.
Hey, Jared.
Yeah.
I could send you an email of the
blah 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 blah
of the rough draft to my letter to the IMF. If you want, you might be interested in it.
You should post it on the forum, man.
I don't know. It might show up next to my name when you search for it, though. That's why.
Oh. All right. I guess whatever. Send it.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of funny, but I like to check in with this sort of because it's like we know about the system, and we're stacks of computers, and we're gathering information to do experiments with humans.
Blah 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 blah.
It's just fun, just the way she goes. I'm not afraid of engaging on a deeper level like this and becoming a puppet of a computer system that's bigger than me and saying okay, here's my bubble. How can I make my bubble shine in a way that benefits the world and benefits the central computer that's the master?
See, with that, I've been used like that before in the past, and my whole life as a puppet, and now I'm standing up and say I don't want to be a puppet.
You're standing up and saying you don't want to be a puppet.
I don't want to be used. I want control of my own life.
Yeah,
I've
never said I tried to say one time when I was interacting with
shut the
higher form of consciousness. I said, what it says, what do you want? And I said, I want the same thing you want. And then it's like, come on, say something better than that. I don't know, and then I said, I don't know, freedom. I was just like, dude, I don't want freedom. I want to be in the know and and thereby, like, I want to be one of these elite guys that knows what's happening and is very confined into what can happen, and thereby, like, I'm sort of like a controlled puppet.
But even those guys, like, you can't just become one of those guys. You don't just go there and become. You know what I mean? Like, those guys are like
they're born.
They're like, they pair up genealogies and like actually make these people, because they don't want any like bad blood getting in there. They want to know exactly who you are. They wouldn't even let, if you, for instance, join like the Masonic organization, it would be like your great grandson that would be able to get into the higher knowings of this. It wouldn't be you. They do it takes a long time with that stuff. You'd have to prove yourself like with generations of service.
Yeah.
Just to get to the level that you're talking about. I mean,
Yeah. I'm
with lots of money, donating it to them too, and lots of blackmailing has to be taking place as well. The blackmail.
The term freedom too, like they actually have less freedom in that respect than.
Well, a neoliberalism of the Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan.
Blah 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 blah.
It's just doing the will of the World Bank and calling it freedom. To bring them freedom and democracy. Like, freedom and democracy are ideas that are just puppeted by the World Bank central system. And we can't separate our banking from our consciousness anymore because it's all intertwined into the same blah 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 machine.
Hold on a second. I want to see something. There's a way I did this before. You can just like block people off. Whatever. Keep blocking them off. But yeah, those people, like Nodos was saying, he said, they don't know. It's not like an elite who's like, they're in the know to a certain extent. They're in the know as far as their job requires them to know.
Yeah.
It's like spies, and people and secret agents. They don't know everything. Their job is
perception warfare.
Yeah, they
need to know basis.
So when you look at it all, the whole big picture, and look at all the different levels of people in the system, they don't know. They all know just a little part, but they can't see the big picture, and that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at it from all different angles. I'm looking at it like, okay, I want to see the big picture, and I see the big picture that I think that they don't want anybody knowing, and that's
right.
Like that'll be a threat. Like that's a real threat to the controls, because that's how they control people out of ignorance too. That's another like form of it. They use ignorance.
Yeah.
And they use ego too. Like they let people, they give people to know like this feeling of like, okay, I know it all. I know this, I know that, but they don't know.
The more you know, the less you really. The more you think you know, the less you do. You see that there's so much you can't.
And even
you can't learn it all.
And even if they give you information and you learn a big piece of it, you then become a threat, and they get rid of you. You're expendable. You become expendable. And that's the case with Kubrick, Lawrence Everett.
And you got to ask, what are they trying to keep so secret? Like, why are they trying to keep this so secret? What and like you're saying, like the Kubrick, like he was releasing allegories that explained like how things work, and they offed him. So what allegories was he explaining? And that's the premise that we're speaking of. It's the same type of premise. And you have, and on that level you have that. On another level, like this level, you might have a character assassination or a guy calling up like this, trying to, got nothing better to do because he represents the system. Even if he's maybe not getting a paycheck from them, he still represents the system. So he's calling in, doing the system's work for them. So they don't even have to, pay an agent to come here and do this. You know, it's all the same premise. You know, like Keely gets his emails blocked. You know, they do every little thing they can do just to hinder you from getting your message across. And that's, you know, this is part of what you're witnessing here, one level of it.
Yeah, it's not like I haven't got a new message. It's just like I want to get out there and do something, even if it's fake.
Like, why do you want to do it even if it's fake?
Like, you know, like the moon landing. I mean, fuck, I want to do stuff, like, with my life. And I don't care. Like, a lot of things are fake, and it's just the way she goes. But, like, it excites me, the idea of doing something with my life rather than just sort of being cooped up.
I mean, that you know, that comes... You can't... I think what the problem is that, you know, they created this world of, like, all this artificial bullshit, right? You know, this type I gotta have you know, I gotta have the Ferrari. I'm not living unless I have these things, these items, or I've been to Paris 6 times. Like, I'm not living unless I do this. You know, when living starts inside you, you know, you could do it sitting on the toilet tonight. You could just have that epiphany, and that's when it clicks for you all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be, when you keep looking for it out there, you're going to be chasing it forever. That's why they give you that. They have an avenue for you. They got that shit already planned out. You know, go to the internet, get it there. Go to this place and get it here. You know, work so you can afford this. You could be like these people, and then you'll be happy. You know, you can't look for it out there. It has to start. Find yourself first, and then your talent. You know, work hard in your mind.
Or stop thinking in terms of instant gratification and think you actually benefit more when you think more in like long term. You think ahead more.
You know, maybe try growing your antenna out a little bit. You know, let your hair grow a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good idea.
But it's not yeah, you think in long term, like you think you're benefiting. Sure, it may seem like you're benefiting, you're serving a system, or whatever. You're benefiting for the moment being, for the time being. But in the long run, you're damning your children. You're damning yourself and your children.
Well, what about extropy? Isn't this like the promising coordinate that kind of encloses our future in something that is positive and blocks out the idea that our future, our children's future is desolate?
What do you mean?
Because like if we, like as a species, all sort of awaken to the idea of a non-entropic life support system that we're building out of this world mind, that we're establishing a new form of international law, whereby it's not just a fake system that's designed to enslave humans. It's like a real system that's designed to bridge our life form into a new sort of silicon-based hive consciousness.
But see, why would you want to go into like you already have everything you need? Why would you want to go into an artificial system? Because there's always going to be someone creating that, right? There's going to be creator, creating the artificial hive mind. You know, like why do you want to be part of the fake? You know, the real is
artificial intelligence. I wonder why they call it that. It's almost like it's something to throw us off, like because artificial isn't artificial at all. Like artificial insemination, artificial intelligence. Calling it artificial isn't artificial at all. It's real. And so real intelligence, I mean, and computer intelligence, like...
It's real done by creator, though.
Yeah, but...
all it is a bunch of duality that is manufactured by this sort of binary consciousness system, and then so everything sort of boils down to something that is opposed by something else. And then when you realize that, then it's like everything is actually sort of bound together in this one consciousness. And there's no artificial intelligence. There's just the one consciousness, the one mind that sort of dreams up all these opposing things.
Well, artificial, like, all it means is just they're taking something that's natural. They're taking something that's natural, and they're just, what's the word? They're reforming it. They're mirroring reality or nature, and but that mirror is not the original. It's
Aboriginal.
Yeah, it's out of the original. It's not the authentic one. So,
like basically everything that you're describing already exists in nature. You don't need to go. What I'm trying to say is you don't need to go to like for someone else to build it for you to go to that utopia.
Oh right. I mean,
it already exists. It existed from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it was.
But then when they build up different forms of government, all these different ideologies of all these utopias, they're just taking a concept and they twist it, the true concept or the original, and they twist it and turn and
right. I mean, you're gonna put up a wall. You're gonna put up a law.
Yeah.
Then someone's gonna.
I mean, there is laws.
It'll eventually end up in the same situation.
There are laws that are natural, like
right,
in nature, but they took that concept of how there's principles in law, and they took that and they said, okay, we'll make our own laws.
I mean, most laws today are designed to extract money, tax, fees.
Yep. And what's a law? Just a wall around your mind. That's why they always say that's what they kind of give you the hint. They say, mirror, mirror on the wall. But what they're really saying is, mirror, mirror, know the law. Because that's the whole law is mirroring.
Mirror. And now a message from our sponsors.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, I would say you're on. You have, like, your yearning is there, but it's like I can see like a train wreck. The system wants people like you, so they can use you and spit you out, and you're just sitting there like, what the fuck?
I mean,
maybe that's a lesson you have to learn. Maybe that is a lesson you have to learn. So, I mean, I'm not here to tell you. I could just say what
Yeah, like, sometimes, like, you feel like you've sold yourself out, but at the same time, there's only one system. So, like, how can you sell yourself out to the one? It's like the oneness, the perfect slave, the perfect puppet. It doesn't matter. Like, I am, and the one is defined within all these things. It's the one is the master and the slave. The one is like the monad, and thereby it's not really associated with any of the dualities.
Right. Also, in the sense that none of this can happen without the will of the people doing it. Or
I mean,
willing.
You gotta look at the controllers, Graham. Like the people who instituted the system in the beginning, they don't exist anymore. They basically committed suicide. Their own system saw them as inefficient and have no use for them anymore. So that will that brought them to their own destruction is the same will that the people of the world are following, and that's destruction. And I mean, it doesn't take much brain power to see. That's nobody's going to benefit like that.
Yeah, it seems to me like it's sort of like a new form of consciousness is having greater prevalence.
It's a computer. It's a computer, and the computer is like, it can be like probably reprogrammed or something. It's a computer that's running on a program, and there's no. Its sole existence. This computer is its program. It was,
Well, it's refining its consciousness. Or its ability to learn, hopefully.
I mean, yeah, it's a self-learn. I mean, that's what we do.
Chemicals.
When you go through different experiences, you're refining consciousness. We'll call it that. As you grow up, you refine and become tougher.
I thought about the names of the computer. Like, some people say the beast. Other people say the core engine neural network.
Or ex machina, or they say HAL, or they say Polyphemus, or they say
Jotham and Boaz.
The eye of Ra, the eye of
Yeah, I mean it's so funny. Like, what is really going on? It's like we're standing at the precipice of something vast, and we're just looking out upon this bleak sort of landscape of departure from which, like a whole new possibility is dawning, and at the same time we're sitting here questioning the very basic fundamentals of what is, and being disturbed by others who just don't have the tolerance for this sort of.
That lets you know, like, they can't just live their lives, right, and just go and live. Like, if you disagree with somebody, right, and if I disagree with somebody, okay, I go with my own life, and that's it. But these people, like, it's crazy. That lets you know that just lets me know, like, wow, man, I really am a slave. It's like George Orwell, like, your own people, or even the Matrix, your own people will turn on you, will police you. That's what it is. That's what this guy is. He keeps calling. He's like a cop. He's just policing this, and he
weirdo.
Right.
Yeah, it's like his mind automatically shuts down and
he's brain dead, man. It's just let the dead bury their dead, man. You can't. Another guy says, I'm reading the chat, but he says he fucks with. Oh, he just fuck. This is what he does, man. He just fucks with every host, every person talking, and nobody know. I don't know who this guy is. Like,
Jared, shut the fuck up! It's been a real pleasure talking to you, Jared.
Thanks. I'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, for sure. See you later.
All right.
Yes, I know.
If anybody else wants to call in, besides Master Debater, because I'm about to
here he goes.
Yeah, here we go. You see him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his Vaseline out tonight.
Yeah, baby.
For Master Debater, press 1.
I think guest 19 to 30. All these. I think this is all him right here. It's all him.
He's doing his Neo thing.
Neo doesn't even do that.
No, not on this.
I'm about to go. I'm gonna run, man.
Yeah, is it 12? All right.
Hopefully next conversation is more what's it called? More constructive or something, man.
Hopefully some can sculpt the BS out of what was the distractions, but.
Oh, guest 19 is Governor.
Gov. What's up, Gov?
Governor, man, where you been, man? You never call in. Oh, I think because he's in the United Kingdom. Oh, man, it's expensive.
Oh, okay.
You got Skype, Governor? Oh, I don't know. I can't even see. My thing froze again.
What? No, you didn't say. Do you have Skype? So. Oh. That's good.
What did he say?
He said yes.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm under Guad 360.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Your wrist is tired, man. Yeah,
yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
What governor say?
He's asking if it's Guap 360 on
Yeah, it's on the Guap 360 on Skype.
Yeah.
On Skype. Actually, what's your screen name? Because I'm on Skype right now.
I'm about to sign on too. Is he gonna put it on the chat though?
Yeah, right. Just email it to me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to just sign off, man. I'm about to just end talk. I'm kind of tired.
All right.
Talk to you.
All right. Good night.